So, JP.
Ba, 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 ba. Wait, is that the song?
That's
What song is that? Is that how it starts?
Sure.
Okay.
Time has passed.
Ba, 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 ba. Oh, yeah, new Star Wars.
Yeah,
new Star Wars is out.
We set out to do this podcast thinking, well, we'll never have enough material.
I was in my 20s back then, Ron. I was in my 20s. I was young, frivolous, having a good time.
I was in my 40s.
Yep.
Still am.
Yep. Young and frivolous, having a good time. And now it's fall.
We're deep into it.
Oh, it's so deep into it. It's fall. I'm eating butternut squash soup. And I'm in my 30s now.
Did you go to Starbucks and get your pumpkin spice latte?
You know what? That was the bitter end of my birthday. It was right before I fell asleep. I was like, I didn't get my free latte.
All right. Well,
nothing happened this weekend. Though.
Nothing happened.
No, another thing happened this weekend. Other than me turning 30.
What happened?
Well, there was new Star Wars.
There's
released.
actual real new
footage, audio, visual.
Yes, new Star Wars. Yeah, Rebels. Star Wars Rebels.
Star Wars Rebels is upon us.
We got we both got to watch the sneak peek.
That's right.
So we'll just
wait. Got it. The sneak peek. Yeah, we watched the sneak peek.
Yeah. We got to watch It actually hasn't debuted yet.
Yeah, we legally watched it on a legal way.
Yes.
Through an electronic device.
Yes, we were able to watch the actual first episode movie. They're calling it.
Yeah. That's
a 42-minute movie.
Yeah, right. It's weird because the Clone Wars started with a feature movie. It was in theaters.
Yeah, a good 80 minutes.
Yeah, had to have been, right?
Right.
Stiff 80 minutes.
Yeah, but so we got new things to talk about. So.
And also the long-awaited. One of us finished Star Wars: A New Dawn.
Yeah,
right?
So we're going to talk about all. This is going to be our Rebels episode.
Yeah,
one of many probably.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to kind of when this finally airs. Hopefully, people have seen the show and have gotten where they needed to get to in the book,
or be willing to get spoiled.
Right.
Because honestly, I'll be honest with you, Ron. A lot of times, I have just as much fun listening to people describe this stuff as actually watching it.
Sure. Yeah. That's the whole thing.
That's actually how I got into Game of Thrones. I listened to a whole podcast about the first season. And I was like, that sounds great. And I watched it, and it was like, watching it was a whole different experience. So enjoy the theater of the mind.
Right. Right. Yeah. So we're going to, we are Star Wars, Delusions of Granular.
Oh, that's right. We are a podcast. My name's JP.
My name is Ron.
We talk about all things Star Wars here. You can please reach us at swdog77. That's swdog77 at gmail.com.
Or like us on Facebook at facebook.com/swdog.
And don't just like us. Talk a little bit. I've seen some people sharing our content. Yeah, I've seen a couple people commenting. I'd like to see that
sharing. You mean sharing the content that I take from other sites.
Hats off. The people don't get to see the man behind the curtain very much. And really, Ron is the mover of gears and levers here. He really aggregates all that content for the Facebook page, puts up the episode, edits the episode. Really, Ron, this is kind of your podcast.
Well, JP, you have the honorable role of riding on my coattails.
Yeah, I was about to say, I just realized, am I the Ed McMahon of this podcast? Yes.
Kids, Ed McMahon was a sidekick for a
show that was canceled when JP was a child.
Johnny Carson was the Jimmy Fallon of the 60s and 70s.
Or the Jimmy Kimmel, depending on how you feel about it.
Sure. I've honestly never watched Jimmy Kimmel.
I've honestly never really watched Jimmy Carson. I watched some old footage and stuff, but I was thinking about this the other day. To you, I listen to old Howard Sterns or something, and they talk about Johnny Carson like he's God. Everything does.
He was.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is everyone knew who he was. He was a part of everyone's family.
Yeah.
But for me, he wasn't the thing when I was growing up.
Right.
Right. So, because I come up during the late night wars.
Oh yeah, right. No, he was huge. Everybody watched him.
It's strange.
He had such great timing.
If you look at old episodes of The Simpsons, they even have jokes that are really like
Oh yeah.
loving of Johnny Carson. But
Yeah. So
anyhow, so like we said, time has passed.
Time has
Nostalgia sets in.
how did we get on Johnny Carson?
Well, I
Oh
think
wait,
it's
you're
here.
Ed McMahon. Okay.
Oh, that's again the
So
sidekick.
actually, we wanted to finish.
30-year-old sidekick. Knew this would happen.
Also, follow us on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter.
We're at SWDog77.
Yes.
And I'm actually doing better there. I'm actually been tweeting out some stuff on there as well.
I followed someone who followed us. I logged in just to follow them back. And I believe that person is Stitcher. So Stitcher, you have that.
We have like 5 followers on
Yeah.
Twitter right now. Since I'm the old man of the podcast, JP.
Yes.
Reddit is all yours.
Yes.
I tried, couldn't figure it out.
I have posted it to Reddit twice. We have seen a boost each time. I've gotten very little in the way of upvotes or downvotes.
I posted to Reddit once. I went to do it again and it said you've already posted. I'm like,
oh,
how does that work?
Maybe I was logged into your account.
I don't know. It's
Maybe
like,
hacked your computer.
I just don't understand it. So anyway, we're trying to get the word out about the podcast. Leave us a review on iTunes.
Yeah, do you hear these efforts? Like, clearly you're thinking to yourself, I could do better than this.
Yeah.
I could spread the word better than them. We elicit you to do so.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, we're counting on you
Yeah.
for us to get popular.
That's right.
Well, we actually do have a
We
few
never ask you for
reviews.
anything.
We finally have a few reviews.
That's right. And I saw on our Facebook we got another one coming. So that's what, 3, 4?
4?
Four?
4 reviews.
We've almost got those bastards.
We are.
We have a couple podcasts we're warring with silently.
Yeah, we're 4 reviews on the way to total Star Wars podcast domination.
Yeah, so come on, help us out. Be on the
That's our
winning
goal.
team.
That's our goal, to overthrow all the other podcasts.
All right, have we groveled
I
enough?
think I think that's it. I think
right.
I don't know. Write us a letter in the mail if you can figure out where we live. Go ahead.
I bet they could with Google.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Stalk
now.
us.
Right. Stalk us on.
We dare you. Okay.
All right. So Rebels has begun.
Yep. JP, Ron, Star Wars Delusions of Granular, Rebels. I'd like to start with the book, I think, just because chronologically it makes the most sense.
Sure. The book, you have it open, was written by...
it is written by a man named John Jackson Miller. Yes,
okay.
The three-named man. John Jackson Miller.
I believe he wrote Kenobi.
Yes, and he's also written some other things. Like all Star Wars authors I've seen, Googling pictures of these guys, it's like, does not elicit hope.
Right, no.
No, it's really rough.
Actually, I read an interview with him today online, and apparently he is a big Soviet, the Russian Revolution, Russian...
Oh, okay.
Like,
sure.
He's a big
buff.
History
dude.
Yeah, so he's comparing
and I can go
the Empire to Soviet Russia.
Oh, that's my bag.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, so well, he's got a thing going on.
So I'm picking up on the zeitgeist.
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So A New Dawn.
A New Dawn. Right. Let's start with the title.
Sure. That's a good title for kind of this is the first stab in the new era of EU.
You know, intellectually I can see. Here's the problem right there. Intellectually, I could see that being a good title, except for the fact that did they just release a title called The Dawn of the Jedi, Jedi Dawn?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Red Dawn. Isn't like the last book they released?
No. I think the last books they've done are those zombie books.
Anyhow, it confuses me every time I go to say Jedi Dawn, A New Dawn, Dawn.
Well, Dawn is kind of a Star Wars word.
Yeah.
I feel like if you do Star Wars Dawn on Google, a lot of things come up.
Yeah.
You know,
we've all woken up at the crack of dawn, haven't we?
There's also a rumor that Daisy Ridley's character is going to be named Dawn.
No, I thought she was going to be named like something like Eva or something.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah, no one knows. It's all bullshit. So let's just should we start from the top, work our way down?
Yeah, let's just
thumbs
start.
Up, thumbs down,
I would say, for the book itself, I would give it a solid B-.
Yeah, I would give it a not quite a flat line, but like it was like this was Star Wars content. I consumed it. It was good. It's like white bread.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, it wasn't really trying to be anything other than what it was.
You said it initially when we first off mic when you first because you started like a week or two before I did. you told me that you thought it was. You're like, I'm not too far yet, but it feels pretty much like every other EU novel.
Yeah, it felt. It didn't feel like I was reading anything that counted. It felt like, okay, none of this is going to be important for me to watch more important things in the future.
And when you said counting, I think that's exactly the right word, because it's like, one of the first things I noticed is, unlike other EU novels where it's like, well, if it sucks, George Lucas can always come wipe it away.
Yeah.
It's never been officially canon.
Right.
Now their new thing is it's all official. It's all real. Right. This book counts just as much as A New Hope from 1977.
Yep.
And so that means every single line of dialogue, that's exactly how they said it. It's written in stone.
Well,
that makes it a little weirder, a little harder to take. A lot of pressure.
That is actually, that is now going forward. That's everything. So, I mean, I think there was a couple lines of dialogue in the show that were a little iffy as well.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Certainly.
It is what it is. But let's start with who's in the book.
Oh, God. Okay.
So our main characters are...
Kanan, whose other name is Caleb. Like always, folks. Spoilers.
Yeah, we're just going to spoil everything here.
Yeah,
so
that's what we do.
Kanan, who is the ponytailed,
yes.
kind of has a little bit of a goatee type of facial hair thing on the show.
Yes.
That's the character we're talking about. He's basically the main character of the book, and he is a Jedi.
Yes.
And he was around when Order 66 came into play.
Yes.
JP is playing Ed McMahon.
Okay.
And
yes.
He had to change his name. So Kanan is not his real name.
No.
It's Caleb.
Caleb, last name is missing here, but his first name's Caleb. He's a kid. He's one of those little Jedi kids. Not quite he's Padawan, not quite a youngling. A little older.
Oh, right.
He's to have his. What's interesting here is the first intro chapter is him as a kid, and it's him in a big gathering where they're having an instruction from Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's showing them the grand computer that they will ultimately use in Revenge of the Sith to send out the warning, no Jedi should come back, stay away, blah, blah, blah. And it looks like it's about, probably 7-10 years before the crash, before Anakin goes dark, right?
Sure, yeah, before Order 66.
Right,
yeah.
About 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And he's showing him the computer, and Caleb's the only one who asked the question. Caleb's question is, could it be ever used to keep the Jedi away?
Right.
And blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, my main questions here was, I was like, I don't remember that room being that big. How many kids could they fit into the grand computer room, Ron?
Well...
Am I wrong?
I don't remember how
that's
many.
Pretty detailed. Okay.
I'm
Too detailed.
Well, were all the Jedi younglings humanoid?
Yeah.
Could you fit little ones in there?
Yeah. I remember it being a smaller area, but maybe I'm wrong. I didn't go back because it's not worth going back. It's a silly detail.
Right.
A bigger question here is, so the Jedis have a sparring practice when they're kids, right? Did we see much of that in the Clone Wars?
We did not. We didn't see any of it in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we saw in the Clone Wars was we saw the young Jedi Knights arc, where they learn how to make lightsabers.
Right. But, just overall, when do we ever even see Luke learn all of what he can learn using lightsabers?
Of course.
He's on the Falcon battling...
fencing is a pretty advanced art,
yeah,
really.
And next thing he's fighting Vader.
Yeah.
He didn't learn anything. Yoda's teaching him. Did Yoda even have his lightsaber on Dagobah?
Well, I mean, that brings in the whole question, the flipping and this and that.
And
it's a long story there, but
right.
Long story short, Caleb has spent his life hiding his Jedi powers.
Yes.
Changed his name to Kanan. He's been drifting around the Outer Rim. As the Empire grows, he kind of stays on the periphery of it, so now he's pushed out all the way to the outermost reaches of the Empire at the time. The Empire is clearly very much growing and taking control of things. Being a Jedi is a death sentence.
Yes.
So he has to suppress all Force ability, his old name, his old life. And remember, because the Jedi were monsters, he's been taken away from his family, his kids. He has no family.
Right. He's a loner.
Yeah, totally. He has no one to connect
attachments to anyone, and he basically kind of lives a life of kind of a drifter, where he
Drinker
goes
too.
Yeah,
Yeah. He sounds like he's like one step away from having the shakes in this, from what I understand.
I don't know about that, but he is definitely more of like a little bit of a ladies' man and a drinker,
Yep.
and didn't really have any attachments. There was an old guy he was attached, kind of attached to.
Oh yeah, because there was an old dude. It was like, yeah, I'm trying to think of a cinema equivalent, but like, old guy who took kindness on a stranger, gave him a gig, gave him a job,
gave him a job at a bar.
Yeah, and it was kind of just generally nice to him. I feel like there's a Clint Eastwood movie or something.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's definitely a trope that covers that.
Yeah.
So he's also kind of works in this mining. He's working on this mining planet. That's where he keeps bars on this mining planet, and they're mining this thoriolide.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the Empire they're basically mining it for the Empire.
Yes.
And basically, what Kanan's job is he's kind of hauling explosives from the planet to the moon and back and forth. Yeah,
totally. It's essentially kind of much like Marvel Comics comes up every episode, but much like Marvel Comics vibranium. It's an unstable ore that if you it's a piece of rock, but if you drop it, it could go off like dynamite, like a nitroglycerin-esque type situation.
Right. So,
and he's obviously really good at this because naturally he's graceful, being trained as a Jedi, but no one knows this.
Right. So, the other character that we get to know that will move on. There's other characters in the book, but the other character that's going to move on and actually be in the show is Hera, and Hera is the Twi'lek, who ends up being
your favorite race.
Yeah, she ends up being the pilot. She's kind of the green Twi'lek that we've seen in the previews.
Twi'lek or Twi'lek?
Twi'lek.
I think Twi'lek.
Yeah,
Twi'lek sounds so much like Twilight.
Twilight. Yeah.
Twi'lek.
All right. But she's kind of been scoping out the area from a distance, and she has intentions to be a rebel.
Yes.
She sees...
And she's clearly a white hat from the get-go.
Yeah, she's witnessed the evilness that the Empire is doing, where in this stage of the story, not a lot of people are even aware that the Empire is bad. They're just kind of like, oh, that's the government. Whatever they do, we'll go along with it.
I certainly felt like, and maybe rightly so, because we're coming out of, the times we live in, combined with the fact that we're coming out of the Clone Wars era, very, very, very much of the times in terms of big data being a big plot point.
Yeah, big data was a huge plot point.
Big data and kind of the whole government surveillance prism stuff.
Yeah.
I pulled out some notes where they talk about there's a character there on the world they're staying on who her whole gig is just that she monitors for the Empire conversations and stuff and flags them if they're troublesome.
Yes.
And it becomes more and more flags going on, and to the point where they're monitoring everyone. And I pulled this quote here from page 47. When the people leave, they took their purchasing preferences with them. And thanks to monitoring stations, and I was like, oh, they're monitoring purchasing preferences. It's very Amazon.
Right.
A lot of big data references.
Right.
So.
The thing to note with the woman that's doing all this, she's kind of works with this company that's monitoring everyone.
Yes.
She's a Celestin. Right? Which is Nine Numb's race.
No shit.
Yeah, so...
I knew she was, short.
Yeah,
because they talked about she's 4 foot.
I find it very interesting because, the way that they write her in the book, is very humanoid.
And, isn't she, really sexy?
I don't know if she's sexy.
I thought she was described as kind of sexy.
Maybe.
Isn't that a whole thing, where Kanan hears her voice or something, and it's oh my god, who is that?
It's very sexy.
Oh my
Showing
god.
a picture of Nine Numb close up. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting that the way they wrote her, she seemed to have a very humanoid personality.
Am I reading into this, or was she not written sexy? I thought she was.
I don't remember that. I don't
all right.
That.
Well,
but yeah, so they're bringing in basically an original trilogy race into the story.
Yeah, so if you thought 9 of them was sexy, you're going to love this book.
So basically, there's also another character, Skelly.
Now, Skelly was interesting because I think we both saw the plot zigging and it zagged. Because I think we both had a theory early on that Skelly was going to turn out to be a clone.
Well, the way they describe Skelly is he's a veteran of the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
They never say anything more than that.
Yeah.
So I always questioned, well, were there other people fighting the Clone Wars other than clones?
Because we talked
Jedi.
about this offline. You kind of indicated to me that you felt that if they could erase the idea of Jedi, then they could easily erase the concept of the clones, right? Because my thing was that clones are the most famous army in the universe,
right?
And they all have the same face. Everyone's going to know that face for propaganda purposes,
right?
But you kind of thought that maybe it's well, no one even remembers what a Jedi does. I was like, well, that's a good point,
right?
So
the Skelly character, he's kind of works in the explosives area, and his whole thing is he wants to get in front of the main bad guy, which is Count Vidian.
Yes, Count Vidian,
and who is an Imperial.
Yeah,
and he wants to kind of get in front of him with his new, more efficient way of mining this thoriolide. And he thinks that the Imperials, the Empire, is going to listen to him. And clearly they're not. They're going to just think that he's a crazy guy because he kind of is.
Right.
And, pretty much just execute him on sight because he's, just not following the rules. Well, but he doesn't think that. He thinks that he's going to, become a hero by giving the Empire a new, more efficient way to mine this very important substance that the Imperials want.
And efficient's the right word, because that's what Count Vidian's whole bag is. He's kind of like the Batman animated series villain, the Clock King, or basically if Darth Vader had been an accountant, not a Jedi.
Right.
He got some horrible disease, his body wasted away. They fixed him, made him a cyborg, much like Darth Vader, but his whole bag is efficiency.
Right. So he kind of takes on more cybernetics.
Yes.
That he doesn't necessarily need, but it's a more efficient way of doing business, so he just, constantly is, integrating them into his body.
Yeah, and that was another thing, a little side note about Count Vidian. He also has written several books, and it's kind of his slogans in economics are kind of famous, like "Change or Die" or something is one of them.
Right.
And that was something that kind of struck me too. That it's the Star Wars universe now has that going.
Right.
Those kind of characters. I mean, the Clone Wars kind of paved a way for that, but it was just kind of okay, well, canonically there's weird financial gurus,
right,
who
right,
do C-SPAN and stuff.
So Kanan, who's friends with Skelly, I guess, ends up coming into contact with Hera.
Yeah.
Kanan right away is attracted to Hera, which surprised me because I didn't...
Wait, maybe I was misreading it. Maybe I thought he was attracted to that surveillance woman, but he's actually attracted to...
Yeah, I think it was Hera.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you misread it. Because Hera...
Well, my version was much sexier. That was a way better book.
He was attracted to Hera immediately.
Okay.
Right?
Huh.
And Hera, is all very, very center-focused, just always focused on this start of the rebellion that she's trying to do.
Yeah. Well, she's a Twi'lek. So.
Right. So, and I found that interesting because I didn't really think that they were going to have any kind of relationship other than being, shipmates. What we've seen in the previews for the show.
Well, it's a very sexless universe, generally.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they don't really... And it's also a kid's cartoon, so they don't really play up in the previews that they're actually in a relationship.
Yeah, isn't that weird? If this was the 1960s or something, that would be such a big deal that they were in a relationship, but, stuck on a ship together, but, not married.
Right. Right.
Because we don't... I can't wait to find out if they have separate living quarters or not.
Yeah.
Now the whole show is taking on a whole
It's also,
element.
Yeah, species romance going
Disgusting.
on. Yeah, right. Captain Kirk did it.
Yeah. It's true, and he made it sexy. So
right.
All right.
So anyway, the main plot of this is, the Empire wants to mine this thoriolide more efficiently. The way to do it, they figured out, was just to blow up the entire planet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
this is...
So they're going to blow up the planet and basically collect all the thoriolide as it's floating in space because it's more efficient than to actually mine it, right? But this is pre-Death Star, so they really don't have an easy way of blowing up a planet.
Huh.
Right?
So listeners at home, I only read half the book, and Ron read the whole book.
Yeah, I read the whole book, and kind of halfway through, I don't remember reading it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was kind of a quick read.
Because you read so sloppy drunk.
Yeah.
But I got to a point where I was going pretty good with it and having a good time. Then Ron finished it, and I got another book from the library and was like, oh, well, I could probably just move on. Yeah. So I did, and I thought it'd be fun for Ron to kind of explain the book to me, because it's a good premise. I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the last half of the book, is them basically trying to stop the Empire from bringing all these explosives to the planet to blow it up. Along with everybody who lives on the planet, they're just going to blow it up and basically mine it from in space. There's a big showdown between Hera and Kanan and the big Count Vidian.
Mm-hmm.
And good prevails in the end. The planet doesn't blow up. Kanan has to make a decision. Is he going to stay en route to be this drifter, or is he going to actually make a stand and join Hera in this cause?
Commit to something. Put down some roots.
Right. And he does. He commits to going with Hera.
Awesome.
Right. So this leads up to the show. So
I actually like that story. That sounds great. I should probably finish that book.
Finish the book. It was a fine read. It wasn't anything earth-shattering. I don't think I really needed it to see the show.
Yeah.
But I did, going into the show, there was one line in it that didn't, I guess, it caught me off guard, because I'm like, oh, that's where they were going with the book. I didn't realize that's where they were going with the book. But,
hit me.
So, are we ready to talk about the show?
Well, I have a couple notes from the book I want to go through. So, my whole thing was, maybe this is why I didn't finish it, because it was so nerve-wracking, because I kept reading it being like, that's canon. That's canon now. This is canon.
Right.
So, I'm just going to go through some lines I pulled randomly. She clasped both sets of her hands prayerfully, which I thought was odd. I was like,
who did that?
It's on page 107. Skelly saw Lol's eyes widening. She clasped both sets of her hands prayerfully. I don't know.
Yeah, there's some like uncomfortable violence in this book.
Yeah, Count Vidian beating the guy to death was probably...
Count Vidian beats a guy to death.
But
he throws somebody into like acid.
That was kind of cool, because also because we just kind of did a rundown of the book, we probably should give it its due and say if we liked it or not.
Yeah.
Or if you liked it and I half liked it. Mm-hmm. But so Count Vidian I thought was very cool, because like that I was also shocked by seeing him or reading him beat a guy to death. Then I was like, well, I watched Darth Vader choke a bunch of men to death, which is a much more intimate, violent crime.
Yeah.
But so that was we kind of talked about it, because you were also put off by how SS Gestapo the stormtroopers came off, which to me made sense, just because it was like, well, we got to see them harsh at first before we can kind of ease up.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I was hoping that the stormtroopers in this would be a little bit more bumbling. They didn't seem to be as bumbling as we know them to be.
The cartoon show seemed to make up for that.
Yeah, the cartoon is making up for that. So other notes you had about the book?
Yes. So one other thing they say here, I pulled this line. Okadiah was a little different. Kanan had never known his father. Prospective Padawans tend to get plucked from their families very young. This is now that's officially canon now.
Right.
So that's a real thing.
Yes,
that is. You don't even know your father.
Right.
Horrible.
Jedi are awful people.
Horrible. We talked about this in another episode that Draka is the same race as the Four-Armed dude in Attack of Clones.
Yes, Drax. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
There's a few of them in this book. One of them is I think the two of them die. Like the two of them that we're talking about, one gets thrown into like this acid, and the other one gets beaten to death. I think they're both the same race.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some cousins. Yeah, he talks about that. Yeah. And I pulled this quote because I thought it was interesting. Just a few meters across Broken Boulevard, no one used the official name, Bogan. The establishment has survived years of hard times. This is from page 101. And I was like, oh, Bogan.
Bogan.
Ashraw and the Bogan.
Sure.
Huh. For some random street on some random bullshit town.
Yeah.
Well, that's canon.
That is.
Oh, this confused me, Ron. This is referred to repeatedly. This particular line says, quadrupling the surveillance workload on Mider's Minox. What the fuck's Mider's Minox? Is that like Hogan's Heroes or
I think
Fury's Roughnecks or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just like some name.
It's just a
name.
It's just a mascotty
So I was
name.
like, those mascots, those Minox can't do anything.
No, it's just a
they're not
mascotty
intelligent.
name. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Baron Lethro Donth of Corlag. I pulled that name.
Yeah, that was...
You noted that name as well. That's not...
Well, yeah, like the whole plot point is like Count Vidian is really kind of like the last half of the book they make the Imperials out to be pretty petty, and that Count Vidian's whole deal was just to kind of overthrow this other Imperial, this Baron guy or whatever you said his name.
Oh yeah, his name's Baron Lero Donth of Corlag.
Yeah, so his only motivation in
that
this
sounds like a name
to,
working much too hard to be a Star Wars name.
Yeah. Vidian is really just out to get this guy.
Yeah.
And all he's doing, he kind of sabotages his whole plot to blow up the planet so he can blame this guy for actually having the idea.
He puts his revenge ahead of his personal gain. Okay.
Yeah. And there's also another Imperial, a female Imperial by the name of Sloane.
You notice it's funny because like that's from page 91.
Yeah.
And it's like a 400-some page book. So like that early on, I was able to pick it out and be like, that's gonna be an important name because I put so much goddamn work into it. Coralline.
There's another Imperial Sloane, and her whole deal in the entire book is basically she's like just on temporary assignment, and she wants to make it permanent. So she's just kind of maneuvering her way to make her assignment permanent. And I was like, this is really petty. Like, this is like these Imperials aren't really doing anything of importance.
That also sounds very EU.
Yeah, they're all just really trying to.
I would love the idea of seeing an empire that's like where it's a straight up cult military. Like they're like, yeah, we know our leader is evil Sith. We want to be that. You know what I mean? Like where they're just straight up a cult. That'd be cool. I
don't think we're gonna get that.
Yeah, it sucks we're not getting that.
Yeah.
So I pulled some other stuff. Moonglow 72. Do you know if that references anything? That's a name of a ship or something?
Yeah, it's the name of the ship.
But I mean, is that a reference to anything? Moonglow 72? It sounded like a George Lucas end note that I don't get.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Also, Lambada class ships.
Lambada class ships are
the trapezoid Emperor ships, right?
I believe so. Yeah, they've definitely been referenced in the movies before.
Really? As Lambada class?
Well, I don't know if they said it's Lambada class, but if you actually
I'm just saying, like that looked to me like that was the first official canon reference.
Yeah.
That, like for sure, those are Lambada class ships. So that's good. Also, I put a note where they and Kanan first uses his powers on page 72.
Yes.
And he stopped it with his mind. And I was like, once again, misunderstanding of the Force. It's a mental thing. I always thought it was more of a spiritual.
Well, there's a moment in the book where an explosion happens, and Kanan uses the Force to throw himself as well as other people away from the explosion, and he's worried that he used the Force too much and he gave himself away.
Right.
But it pretty much goes unnoticed throughout the book that he actually, used the Force.
Yeah, remarkable lack of consequence on that one.
Right. Yeah. But it's early. It's early on.
It's believable. It was pretty traumatic.
I believe Hera ends up knowing that he's a Jedi.
Okay.
I
hope so.
I believe that is brought into play at a certain point. I'm fuzzy on the ending of the book.
So, my last note here is that Kanan sometimes wondered how the Stormtrooper uniform suppliers kept up with the demand.
Yes.
When the Imperials reached the fringes of the galaxy, where would they get all their supplies and what have you? And I was like, this is totally going to show up in Rebels.
Right.
That's a plot point they're going to totally address, is
Yeah.
like how they kept those soldiers uniformed.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Bottom line,
it was fine. It was a good read. I think that the other books that are coming soon, the Tarkin book and the Emperor Vader buddy cop movie book.
the Tarkin book's going to be a big one.
Yeah, I think that they're. I think they'll be better than this one. This one was fine for what it was.
This one seemed like a one of the typical soft cover releases you would see.
Yeah.
Like along with the Death Troopers or what have you.
Right.
And I think it was intended for that until they made this canon thing and got roped in.
Right.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, and I think the book did what it was intended to do, which was basically give us a little background on Hera and Kanan.
Sure.
That we didn't really necessarily need.
An emotional foothold.
Yeah, so it helps. So that brings us to the show.
Yep. Well, I just want to throw in my own 2 cents on this one. I felt like it did what it had to do if it wasn't going to be the first new part of canon we saw.
Oh, well.
That was my feeling on it. Was that, like, if this is the bar setting for new canon, because I let him slide on Son of Dathomir. We all knew
that's the bar.
We all knew that Son of
That's the
Dathomir.
bar.
That's the bar. Well, I exceeded it. Well, great.
There you go.
But if I was gonna set this as gonna be the bar, and if this is the bar, it's pretty fucking low.
I don't think either of those two are the bar.
You're thinking, so you think none of it matters, not even Rebels.
I think Rebels is the bar.
Okay. Let's transition to Rebels.
Are you ready to transition
I'm ready
to
to
Rebels?
go.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
let's do it.
Do we want to...
How do we want to slice and dice this, Ron? Do we want to do just let it run in the background and we kind of talk over it?
I think...
We got the headphones set up, so we can
I
do
think
it so
the
the mics don't
headphones.
pick it
I
up.
think the headphones are gonna distract me from my thoughts.
Okay. Put you too much into the world?
Yeah, I'll stop listening to you. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm very.
So we'll just let it play.
We'll just let it play really
on
quietly
silence.
here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
All right. So
We're
we'll
the
try
first-
not to do like just commentary, but
So
this is just there to.
We've hit play. We just hit the end of the opening in transmission business. And
Right. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to bring
8
up
seconds into it.
the interesting start to this. We do not have a crawl. We do not have a proverb like we got in Clone Wars.
Yep. There's no.
We just got
There's
basically
kind of a following of a big Star Destroyer, but
right,
not really.
But we don't have any kind of title sequence. I
No.
thought that was an important change. We don't have like it just
This
kind of is
very
a cold open.
Is this a very J.J. Abrams shot, or is this a very Star Wars shot, what just happened there?
I think this is Star Wars shot. I think this. So the look and
this
feel
is-
of the show
Yeah.
that we've seen so far is very Ralph McQuarrie inspired.
Sure.
You know, and this is.
In some ways.
I'll say this: most of, or a good portion of this show is what we've seen in previews.
Right.
Like this episode, they've really heavily shown this in previews.
And particularly two guys like us who've seen all the previews.
Yeah.
That might not be the best way to go into this.
Right.
Okay, so animation-wise, here we've got this street vendor guy getting hassled by the Empire. And I'm willing to let that guy's design slide.
That design was, I believe, a character that was originally seen in or a race that was originally seen in the cantina of Star Wars.
Fair enough. I'm more the animation style I'm commenting on.
Okay.
Is they have kind of a strange... they're clearly trying to push the bar into a different direction to make things more fluid.
Yes.
Because while the Clone Wars animation was fantastic, it wasn't always the most fluid, but they don't quite have it figured out here.
Well, it's the first episode. I'm willing to give it some leeway.
My wife caught me watching it, and we were talking about it, and she didn't care. Like, she initially hated the Clone Wars animation, but grew to love it because she was trapped with me and my buddy one day, and we watched like 10 hours of it.
All right.
And she grew to love the animation style.
Let's just.
And her thing was, She goes, it feels... I was like, well, I told her what I just told you. They're trying to fix things, they're trying to progress it, make it more fluid. And she goes, it feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
All right. So I just paused it for a second because we've been pretty quiet about our thoughts on this up until now.
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
Let's just get it out of the way. And so what did you think of this show?
Yeah, me and Ron actually have not conferred at all previous to this episode as to if we liked it or not. I mean, I had a pretty good idea Ron liked it because he'd watched it twice in one day.
I've watched it twice in one day, yeah.
But he sent, so I watched it yesterday. And my thing was, I mean, if I'm comparing it to the opening movie for Star Wars, or for Star Wars,
for Clone Wars?
The Clone Wars, then, like, it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
All right.
You know, but if I'm comparing it to, like, anything else, even Season 1 of the Clone Wars, it's kind of bad.
All right.
There's good things. There's a lot of things I liked. I'm hoping you're going to point out a lot of good things and turn me around on this. Because I'm also, folks, at home, I'm a known flip-flopper on these issues. I go back and forth with the wind. I'm very, very fickle with my pop culture.
All right. So my thoughts on this?
Okay.
I loved it.
Okay.
All right. Sure. I had a few minor nitpicks here and there. Mm-hmm. And then one major problem with it towards the end. Does it
rhyme with Wookiees?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I loved it. I thought it had a wonderful pace. The animation never bothered me.
Now, I think
except for that one part that rhymes with cookies.
Yeah. So when while we're in this little sidebar where time doesn't matter, let's take a moment also and just get the animation out of the way, because it's a sticking point for a lot of people online. Sure. Obviously, it was kind of a sticking point for me, even though I'm much more understanding. Yep. And it was a major sticking point for my wife. So, but you had no problem with it, except for the part that involves cookies.
Yeah. Just for the problem with the Cookie Monsters.
Yeah.
Which would have probably been a better portrayal if they were actually Cookie Monsters.
Ron, we're going to have a separate sidebar about the Cookie Monster, because it's pretty fucked up, man. Yeah. Like, it's a weird thing.
It's a weird thing, but I didn't...
On your inaugural episode.
I did not have a problem with the animation whatsoever. I didn't have, like... So Ezra, the main character in this, pretty much is a blue-haired Aladdin type of character.
And, like, I wasn't going to... Initially, I really resisted that Aladdin comparison.
Yeah.
Because, the character model kind of looks like Aladdin. I kind of get the idea he's like a thief bum guy. But when someone called him a street rat, that was when I was like in his opening scene, that's when I was like, ooh.
Is that what they call Aladdin?
Street rat.
I never saw it.
You never saw it? It's a song. It's a song. You should watch it. Robin Williams, R.I.P.
Yeah.
I think I've managed to get that in the past 5 episodes.
I think so. It still hurts.
Too soon. Still too soon.
All right.
So you brought it up, though. Ezra's hair. Blue hair. Blue-eyed boy.
I don't know if he has blue eyes.
He does have blue eyes.
Does he really?
But they're like teal, like blue eyes.
Okay.
His hair is almost purple blue.
Sure.
And made of plastic.
It is a little shiny, yes.
Yeah, well... Shiny doesn't he has no strands of hair. It's like literally like a piece of plastic that's
a shiny helmet,
a gelatinous plastic helmet.
Yes,
yeah.
Still doesn't bother me.
And like it was weird. It's like Obi-Wan's mustache beard thing doesn't bother me. Like where
Obi-Wan kind of bothered me.
Yeah, he bothered you. They kind of switched him up in episodes or seasons 5 and 6, right? Because I remember towards the end you were
yes, they did. Yeah. No, but I'm talking about the way Obi-Wan is portrayed.
Oh, in this one. Yeah, in this one it bothered me.
Yeah,
because here's the deal, the Clone Wars was all about dimensionality.
Yeah,
like they would actually pull out strands of hair. They would it was very much that, but they weren't so good with like isolating shapes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas this is like. The shapes are very well isolated, but like they added this new layer of textures on them. Okay. Like if you look at like the body armor that the sexy Mandalorian girl wears.
Yes.
Or if you look at like the backpack he has on, there's this like layer of texture that we never got before.
Right.
But they haven't quite the technology isn't quite there, or they're not quite there with the technology to make it also seamless and make different parts move. So you see a lot of parts that are flattened out with a very detailed texture put on top of it.
Okay.
And it's very so the street vendor, his mustache, the mustache on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and of course the Wookiees suffer horribly from this. So you just see this big flat shape with a texture put on top of it, but your mind still reads it as a flat shape, and it's like, what the hell's going on? It tricks your mind. It's hard to look at.
All right. Well, I mean,
some scenes it works really well.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
It works really well on
I think that
two-dimensional objects, like the boxes.
I think for me, like, none of that really bothered me. I was really looking at it more of an overall story. The thing that really kind of grabbed me with this episode is one of the things that didn't grab me in any of the Clone Wars, although I enjoyed the Clone Wars a lot.
Nice, okay.
Is I never was aware of how long this episode was.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yes.
It was very well paced.
Agreed. It was well paced.
Very well. There was always something very engaging going on.
Mm-hmm.
The interactions of all the characters, not just the main crew of the rebels, but the Imperials. Everybody is. There's never a point where I'm like, I'm looking at my watch and being like, is this over yet? And
sure.
And that was something that I always kind of had with the Clone Wars. Again, I like the Clone Wars a lot, but there were arcs in that went on for too long.
Yeah. Oh, and, certainly. Almost every arc.
It's
there was
quite
a pacing
possible.
issue.
It's quite possible this show will suffer that too. But this is 42 minutes, so basically this is 2 episodes. I thought it flew by. I thought constant engaging action going on. Whether it's actual, there's a chase scene, there's fighting, there's laser blasts, fights, fighting. There's actual killing going on.
There is killing. They blow up a stormtrooper.
Actual, the interactions of the rebels themselves on the ship, all high marks for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of let the video go forward. We're not trying to do commentary here. We're just kind of.
No, that was a good sidebar. I agree. So.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you're gonna start nitpicking animation and you're watching a television cartoon show, you can't watch it.
Right.
Because all TV cartoons, they all have issues, right?
Right.
Because it's a lot of content to put out really quickly.
I would say, and I'm going off of memory here on the Clone Wars, but I would say for me right now, looking at Ezra's facial reactions and Kanan's facial gestures,
yeah,
a little bit more humanistic than the Clone Wars.
Yeah, maybe so.
I think there's a little bit more. They brought more human elements into the animation.
I think a lot of what you're responding to there is lighting and texture. I think that's giving a lot of depth and dimension.
There's a scene where, Kanan walks into the cockpit.
I'd really love to read an article about the enhancements they've went through to make this.
Sure.
Because I'm really interested in that whole thing.
But there's a scene where Kanan, in it, we have this running in the background, but there's a scene coming up where Kanan jumps in. He walks into the cockpit of the Ghost, Hera's ship.
Yep.
And Chopper, the R2 unit, is kind of giving him some gruff.
Mm.
And Kanan's like, whoa.
Yeah.
He has a good, body language,
right,
facial gestures.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I'm responding to that.
Yeah, the animation is much more fluid, much more gestural.
Really, for me, I'm not responding to the textures or the glossiness or the gumminess of the animation itself. I'm responding to, the gestures of the animation.
And the thing is, as by season 3, they'll have all that figured out.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing. It's just like the Clone Wars was it felt like such a mess when it first came out, that by season 5, it's the best thing on television.
Right.
And I think this is the same thing. And so even though my wife disagrees, I feel like this was a necessary step.
Yes.
So we just saw the sexy Mandalorian show up.
Yes.
And what did you think of his character?
I think I think again it was another
street artist / rebel.
Yeah, I thought it was here's why I thought it was kind of a ballsy move for the show. Mm-hmm. You keep calling her the sexy Mandalorian.
Yes.
She's basically a female Mandalorian. She's got kind of pink and purple accents on her armor.
Which is like clearly hand painted. She's kind of like a Starbuck. Starbuck meets I have another one, but I can't pull it off right now. Starbuck meets someone.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty brave that they actually kind of show that Ezra immediately has like the hots for her.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, we're going with that characterization of this character.
Sure, that trope.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm good with that. So,
and she seems to have some kind of background with Zeb.
Yes, so we don't know exactly how the rest of the rebels have gotten together. Like, we see now that Kanan is there with Zeb and Hera and Sabine.
Sabine, yeah.
Sabine.
Because Satine is the other one, right?
That bugs me, but I'll let it go.
Yeah. So Satine is which one again?
I don't know.
She's a sexy Mandalorian?
Sabine is the sexy man.
Sabine is the sexy Mandalorian.
Satine
is the Mandalorian queen.
Yeah.
Obi's juice.
Right. So we see that Zeb has one of those laser sticks.
Yeah.
Like,
those little tranquilizer stick things.
Yeah, that Dooku's troops had. So there's a lot of speeder bikes in this, which is cool.
So Ezra steals the shipment from the rebels who were stealing the shipment from the Empire.
Yes.
And now the rebels are after them, and the Empire's after all of them.
So there's
a high-speed chase.
There's kind of a theme here of, like, maybe not a theme, but like a trope of Robin Hood. Like, stealing from the rich to feed the poor.
No, totally, yeah.
You know?
Because when they ultimately get their shipment and they exchange it for the money, they use it to go literally give food to the poor.
Right. Yeah. Which also is a lot like Firefly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Firefly.
Yeah,
Firefly, they are always kind of like, they would take a mission on to make money.
Yeah.
But in the end, they would like either lose money or break even because they ended up doing the right thing instead of just making money. So,
but they weren't literally going out.
They weren't literally
passing out food.
Right.
I thought that was a little on the
nose. That's what they always
to be
ended
honest.
up. Yeah. Well,
with this cartoon, yeah. There's a part where Zeb is literally like taking food, and it's the same model of food we saw earlier.
Yeah,
It's the only food they have.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so the planet they're on is Lothal.
Yeah.
And it seems like a very grassy plains planet. We get TIE fighters flying in atmosphere, which we haven't really seen before.
So we just passed that little speeder bike chase they had on the highway.
Yeah.
Which reminded me of three things.
Yes.
First is Matrix 2.
Okay.
And the second was, second and third, were J.J. Abrams' movies and Looper.
Mm.
You know, like the opening to Star Trek, you know, where little kid Kirk is riding around in the cornfields.
Sure.
And like most of Looper. In those rural areas with those kind of futuristic cars and stuff.
True.
And I was like, but it was this weird quotes game where I was like, is this cartoon show quoting these popular directors? Or am I reading that they're all quoting from Star Wars? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of cool.
I think we're going to get a lot of that with this series.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to be pulling little things here and there from pop culture.
It's just kind of interesting because, like we've talked about before, that's how George Lucas started with Star Wars. It's just pulling from pop culture and pulling from the zeitgeist and what have you.
Yeah.
But now you have like the Oberos syndrome of like a snake eating its own tail, where like a Star Wars cartoons coming out quoting directors who are quoting directors who are quoting Kurosawa. Like,
right.
So the movie game continues, which makes Star Wars fun.
Sure. So we're going to see that Ezra has displayed some force ability here.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to... So Kanan is telling him to jump onto the ship, and Ezra is like, okay... And he grabs the crate that he was stealing, and Kanan yells at him.
This is a hell of a force ability.
Yeah, Kanan yells at him and says, you know, just leave the crate. You can't make it without it. And Ezra jumps into the ship, with the crate in front of him and makes it.
And the crate's kind of like a hover crate thing because it's future world.
Yeah,
but they
well,
don't use
everything
wheels.
is kind of on hover. Everything's like
much like the hoverboard in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah, or like the land speeder. Everything kind of hovers.
Yes.
Yeah. So he jumps onto the ship. Kanan is like, whoa, can't believe that he just witnessed that, even though Kanan is a Jedi as well. So I guess he's more surprised that he's just encountered another Jedi.
When I watched it, you know how my meter always goes off whenever anything that's like unreal happens?
Yeah.
Like when you see a giant with giant clothes, like how they sew them. This was one of those moments for me where I was like, if this was a movie and I saw a character...
It would be unreal.
It would break the movie, right?
It would break the movie, sure.
Yeah.
I thought about that too, but
like,
it fits in the world because it's all anime.
Oh, certainly. For animation, you almost have to do that to make it special, right?
Right.
But I was thinking, like, now that everything is canon, like, I saw this, like, non-trained Jedi boy jump a literal 20 feet in the air.
Right. With a 200-pound
kilo,
case or something
whatever.
ridiculous in front of him.
Yeah. So it's like... So that's just one of those things about the shared universe syndrome where it's like, when they go cross media, you really kind of got to put your blinders on.
Right. Well, I mean, we've also seen the sexy Mandalorian character. She just kind of jumps onto the speeder bike, and there's a lot of low gravity effects going on.
Well, that stuff works for me, particularly when you get the prequels, where like characters like fall through like 100 feet of traffic and land.
But they make mention of it in the show.
What? What do you mean?
So
in here?
Yeah. Zeb falls on Ezra, and Ezra's like, "Oh, get off!"
Oh yeah.
And Zeb goes, "I'm not
low gravity."
Heavy.
Yes, I noted that. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird that they make gravity is. This is the first time I think that gravity is ever an issue in Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
because they make it a plot point later on where they turn the gravity off.
Speaking of, when they go 0G, that's probably the best the series looks.
Right.
Because I think the new animation style, despite the fact that they use so much more shading and blacks, much like the Batman animated series,
sure,
it still feels very weightless. Like there's a lot of things that don't feel like they have much weight to them.
Right.
And I think that's something they're going to have to overcome.
Well,
and they will.
Here's another thing about the animation style, or I guess the character style.
Okay.
I feel like the Clone Wars, what they were doing when they went to CGI was basically trying to stick with the Tartakovsky.
Oh, yo, it's first season
right?
Yeah, totally.
The 2D animated Tartakovsky,
which is all about shapes,
right?
It's all about just making.
And what they did is just basically take that and translated it into CGI 3-dimensional,
right? And they really came into their own when they broke from that.
And what Rebels is doing is basically there is no style they're following. They're trying to make it up their own.
Right. Yeah, that's very true.
So right now what we're seeing of that style is, a little bit more bubbly, a little bit more shiny. I think that'll evolve.
They'll totally zero in on it.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's the introductory to this whole new thing.
Yeah.
Which is always hard.
Right.
And
but
I
feel like
I feel like they overstepped their bounds at a certain point.
Oh, see, I looked at it as like I've watched 6 seasons of Clone Wars. I know where it went.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine with that. Like there were points in the Clone Wars when I was watching it, I was like, wow, this could be real. Like it could be.
Oh God, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And this, I'm like, you know what? I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that there's, this. I've only seen 42 minutes of this series. There's, hours of it coming.
Well, Ron,
if it gets renewed.
Ron, I hate to do this. Reality check.
It was canceled already?
No. Oh. Reality check, man. This is the point where, we started as haters.
Right.
And we became just fucking blind, straight on Star Wars, right? Mm-hmm. We were haters we were big fans, then we became haters.
Yep.
And then around the time we started the podcast, we were on board with everything Star Wars.
Yes.
And I was totally on board with that. Everything Clone Wars I still love. But there does come to a point where you have to say, if I'm watching the premiere episode of the new canon, the first audio visual of the new canon, and I'm saying things like, well, I'm sure they'll figure it out. Well, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Well, that's well, we're on. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where we're at anymore.
I like this scene. I like his acting.
This is a good. Yeah,
it's good.
They do a lot of good cockpit acting.
Yeah, I
was surprised how much I liked Ghost. It doesn't look near as much like the Millennium Falcon as I thought it would.
Right. No, I like the Ghost.
It's totally a much freighter ship, like picking up big freighter things.
Yes, it very much aped Firefly.
Really? See, once again,
Firefly was very much a freighter ship.
Huh.
Yeah. There's a lot of Firefly going on in this. I actually noticed that there's 2 ways to get into the cockpit. There's by ladder or by doorway.
Oh, that's
which
nice.
I thought was interesting.
You can see ladders, a bright colored ladder like that too.
Yeah.
I noticed, weird point to bring up, but I noticed like in those shots we saw of episode 7 from like across the parking lot or whatever.
Yeah.
They showed some piece of equipment that had like bright yellow ladders and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, when did safety become such an issue in Star Wars? It's like we're all ladders and that kind of stuff's all painted.
You never really put the stickers on all your Kenner toys.
Oh, yeah.
There were always safety stickers. Don't step here.
Sure.
Hot. Don't,
right.
Caution. Yeah.
Okay, so it's always been very safety oriented.
Right.
Anyhow.
Although they don't understand what handrails are, but
that's
a different point.
Well, it's low gravity.
Right.
So Zeb.
Yeah.
Zeb. So I think Zeb is going to be a character we all fall in love with, but they haven't found his tone in this one.
Zeb bothered me.
Yeah. They don't have his tone.
Zeb bothered me in
his
this
tone's
episode.
Not there. You want the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, and what you're getting is like, I don't even know. Like he's very.
I'm not entirely sure what to make of Zeb.
It seems like they're trying to make a funny uncle character.
Yeah.
But like they're not doing it because he says weird things.
He says weird things.
But like
at one point he does a weird thing. We'll get to it, but
when he starts talking, the part where he throws the kid down, that one.
He punches.
Yeah.
Ezra, who's clearly a kid. He just punches him in the face.
Yeah, and he does a thing where he like holds. He's like, they're like, "What are you always punching them stormtroopers for?" And he's like, "Oh, I just love the feel." Something.
Was that on this episode?
Yeah,
or was that a preview?
No, it's on this episode. He laughs and he goes, "He's like, just love something about the feeling of their helmets on my fist." Yeah, and it was just this weird thing where it's like, this thing's a monster. You can't hang out with it. Right. He's crazy. He's violent.
Right. Space battles. We have not gotten.
Oh yeah.
We haven't.
There she is. She just took off the helmet. Sexy Mandalorian.
Yep.
Who she look like?
With the orange highlights.
Kind of Asian face. Who is she?
No.
No?
I don't. I didn't get that she looked like anyone.
Really?
Yeah.
She kind of looks like someone to me. I can't picture her though.
I didn't get that she really looked like anyone. But this is something that we didn't really get a lot in Clone Wars, or space battles, or laser blasts.
Okay.
This is definitely their way of saying, hey, this is old trilogy.
Here we are, stormtroopers, space battles, cockpits.
Yeah, we got.
Oh, they even threw an
walkers,
ATST in there for no reason.
Right.
I thought that was ridiculous. They just have an ATST patrol.
Just walking through.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, you're in the OT now.
Right. Yeah. So we got Imperials. We got stormtroopers. The Imperials. We got.
Here we go.
The Imperial.
I forgot about this guy.
Imperial Pork Chop.
Imperial Pork Chop. He's the number one bad guy. He's the bad guy that we get.
He's the number 2 bad guy.
Yes,
he's the number 1 bad guy in this episode.
He's your pilot bad guy, where at the end you tease the big bad, and the big bad is some other guy you never heard of.
Right.
We don't even get a tease of Darth Vader of Emperor.
Right.
Which on one hand is ballsy, but on the other hand is like, at least put him in a title sequence or something. God, I miss cartoons from the 80s.
Yeah.
Where the intro like laid out what the story was.
Right.
Ugh.
So, I like what they did with Hera in this episode.
What do you mean?
I like that they kind of make her the mother figure of the ship.
Oh, that's great.
I like that idea. Like, she's the one that was like, you bumbling idiots, you don't know how to watch this kid. I'm gonna watch her.
And that's just what we need in an action-adventure series. Come on.
Yeah.
What? Why do we need a... It's like, what great action-adventure series? Johnny Quest, where's the mom? Nothing.
I don't know.
Batman, where's the mom? Nothing. The mom's boring. Why do we got her in here?
I'm just saying,
Twi'leks are meant to strip. Return of the Jedi taught me that.
I've never seen Johnny Quest, and you know my hatred for Batman. So
once again, my
let me just bring
all
up
my references. All my references are like pre-1990, like Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon.
So they are.
I'm just saying, I don't care for Hera, and like. It's not that I don't care for her. I thought she was a fine character. I dug her romantic relationship with Kanan.
Oh, yeah. So that's what...
When she drops the My Love line,
yeah,
that was good.
She refers to Kanan as love.
Yeah,
and I actually rewound that a couple times. I'm like, did she actually just say that?
Did she use the big L? And sure enough, she did.
She does.
I dug that. That was cool.
Yes.
And what's also neat is, like, I like seeing, like, a couple...
Yes,
like working together.
I feel like
that's something we really don't see in Star Wars.
I feel like this is the moving forward. This is saying, look, we're not going to get Leia and Han together. This was
the love interest.
This is how we're going to play that off. Is like, look, Han and Leia, you're not getting that. You're going to get it with this show. Han and Leia, that's going to be a different dynamic.
Nice.
That's how I read it.
I like that a lot. That's kind of what's nice about that is it's kind of like so. Then once again, the geeks who hung out and watched the cartoons will get to wag their finger at the assholes who are like,
right.
I just wanted to see a couple in Star Wars. I'm like, well, actually, if you watched Rebels, the children's cartoon show on Disney XD, you would love it.
And I think their relationship will be like Han and Leia. They'll be bickering,
but like the EU Han and Leia.
Yeah, they'll be bickering and they'll be
I like that.
And they switched the dynamic. Han was the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
And
now she is. She got the goggles.
Clearly, Kanan does not have control of the ship.
He clearly has no idea.
He doesn't know how to fly
works.
the ship. Yeah. He's just bumbling into things. So I like that. I like that. I like the emotional beats in this. So I think there's more emotion in this than I think mostly what we got in the Clone Wars.
Sure.
I think that there's Ezra definitely has some emotional. He's got some emotions he needs to overcome in this.
Certainly, he's kind of a selfish orphan.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's selfish. He doesn't feel the need to help anybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He doesn't feel like that's something people do. He's never seen that.
Yeah, he doesn't even want to help people that have already helped him.
And I feel like there's a real message of the whole episode here, where Kanan sees him, and he's also a thief.
Yeah,
he's always stealing stuff.
He's stealing stuff.
And Kanan goes to see him in his little hovel with all the stormtrooper helmets and what have you, and all the things he's collected.
Yeah.
And Kanan says, he's stolen Kanan's lightsaber, and he says, give him back the lightsaber. He's like, or keep it and let it just don't learn how to use it. And
just
keep it with all this dust. Yeah. And I thought it was a good message of like, hey, collectors, you can keep collecting all this shit, or you can start creating something.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's totally what it's talking to, right?
I like this little scene here where Chopper catches Ezra clearly doing something he shouldn't do, and Chopper's like, I don't care.
He's kind of the bender.
Yeah, I don't care. Do whatever you need. Meat bag.
Meat bag. Someday the real revolution is going to come.
I won't be serving you anymore.
There's a little droid fist.
So I thought this was interesting. They actually, once again, Dave Filoni dragging the EU into canon.
Yeah.
Clearly, holocron. There were holocrons in Clone Wars, correct? I believe we saw holocron.
That's the thing. Is like, I feel like there were references, but I don't remember much holocron action. There must have been there. But
yeah. No.
Also, they also animate the lightsabers a little different.
They do.
They look a little more like the OT.
Yeah, they're a little bit more jittery.
Yeah. I dig it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I dig it. But no, wait, back to what you're saying though.
The holocron.
I also said, I was like, if we ever saw a holocron, did it ever act like this before?
Well, okay, so
it's very. I know you're not a horror guy, but it was very Hellraiser. The box, like the Lamont configuration that you would like use to twist around to summon Pinhead.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen that. The twisting of the corners.
Yeah. It's cool, but like
we also never really. Okay, like I believe you brought this up last, or maybe offline. Like the whole idea of like. Are you like the Jedi when they get like when they communicate to each other from a distance? Like Obi-Wan sends out this beacon to stay away from Coruscant.
Yes.
Right? How do they receive that message?
Yes.
Is it Force received or is it just they download it onto their iPad?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
This kind of answers that question.
Yeah.
It's in the holocron, and to work the holocron, you have to use the Force.
Here's my thing with the holocron, Ron, is if I'm... Okay, so we've established that Jedi garb is robes. You wear your bathrobe everywhere.
Yes.
That's how I know you're a Jedi.
Yes.
So where are you keeping this goddamn 5-inch by 5-inch cube where I'm not clearly seeing a 5-inch by 5... Hey, is that a holocron in your pocket? Or you just happy to see me? What's going on here?
Like, Ezra steals it, and Kanan, calls him out on it. He's like, you still have something of mine, don't you?
Right.
And, Ezra kind of pulls it out from him behind his backpack. And
you're saying it flattens?
I
think it kind of collapses in on itself like a collapsible camp cup?
I think you're thinking too much into it.
No, man, fuck that. This is canon. This is canon world now. We're not playing games.
Yes, but everything's it's a cartoon.
I give some leniency.
It's a cartoon.
And I'm fine with him keeping it. I mean, he's clearly got some pockets and things on his back, so that I can overlook that. But what I'm saying is, in the Clone Wars, theoretically, this is Jedi gear. And it's not only Jedi gear, it's the top of the line last thing the Jedi made. Right. And it's about a 5-inch by 5-inch cube.
Yeah.
So theoretically, they all carried around these 5-inch by 5-inch cubes in their robes.
Well... We don't know that they carried them out.
Maybe they kept them in their homes.
Yeah.
But then it seems to me like a lot of Jedi did not get the message then.
Well, yeah, and they're dead.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But
I mean, how many holocrons are there?
It just seems like a weird world.
Okay, wait.
It seems like a weird world when, on the one hand, you have people data mining you and seeing your purchasing profile and stuff.
Yes.
And the other hand, the top of the line way of communicating is a 5-inch by 5-inch cube, which you can't take with you anywhere because it's
5-inch by 5.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a little fucked up.
Clearly, Star Wars technology is messed up.
Then again, on the other side, that is different galaxy communication. That's from Coruscant all the way to the Outer Rim, right?
Yes.
So you probably are going to have, it's like having a satellite phone in the deepest, darkest jungles of Africa.
Yes.
Okay. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little more retro-looking.
You just talked yourself into believing this.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's what the whole podcast is here for.
I think Star Wars technology is a little goofy.
Yeah, of course. But you always got to look at it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So communication makes sense because it's crossing galaxies.
Yes.
Okay. I'm on board with that. I'm sold.
We don't know how big the galaxy is.
No. So we're kind of at a lull point on the episode. It's kind of in a boring part. What do you think of these Chrome troopers?
Oh, the Chrome troopers that we've seen in the...
Indie Revolver once again strikes with a strange piece of artwork.
I'm good with it. I'm good.
I am too. I like the high collars. Do you think that means they can travel in space? Because supposedly that's what Ralph McQuarrie intended with the Stormtrooper design.
Also, what I read, not only is there high collars, but that hood that we see them in isn't actually a hood. That's part of the helmet.
What do you mean?
Like Darth Vader's helmet.
What do you mean?
That's helmet that we're seeing, not hood.
But it's a hood.
No, it's helmet.
What do you mean?
It's like Dark Helmet from
This is like who's on first. Helmet sheer. Helmet who?
It's hard material.
Okay.
We're seeing, it looks like a hood, but it's not. It's helmet.
I guess I'll pull it up again, so at some point in the episode we can come back to this, because I can't wrap my head around that without actually seeing the visual. It makes no sense.
All right. So let's get back to Rebels for a second here, because
so they just waltz in and out of these Empire places.
Well, so
I guess it's early in the war,
right? That's why I was trying to bring up earlier was like the Imperials aren't the Imperials that we know. They haven't gotten their shit together.
Okay.
Like they aren't all like everyone, like not everyone thinks they're evil yet.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know, so
not everyone knows they're worshiping the ultimate Lord of Evil.
Right.
Literally.
So like, you know, we have this little splinter cell that is the only ones that are like, no, we figured the Imperials out, and they are truly evil. You know, so like they're not.
It'll be interesting to see actually where that came from, where the rebellion came from.
Well, I think that's what this show is going to be about.
Yeah, that will be actually kind of interesting to find that out.
I think that you know what we're witnessing is, you know, the birth of not only the rebellion, but, you know, the early days of the Empire. You know, and clearly they're not.
Sorry, Ron. We just entered that 0G segment.
Yeah, we got
beautiful.
Gravity. Yeah, we got good gravity loss here.
Yeah, when they take that off, it really just makes the
also the setting
shine.
is very Star Wars, like
You're
without being very blatantly Star Wars.
Oh yeah, totally. Just like these flat buttons and round circle buttons. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, they really, really managed to incorporate 70s idea of what technology is, but still not make it look dated.
Well, it's cool because I feel like kind of more modern technology looks a little bit more like some of that bland 70s technology than like the 90s stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like because we streamlined stuff.
So Kanan clearly is using the Force here, because without communicating to Sexy Mandalorian, he knew when the gravity was going to come back in.
I thought they just planned it really well, because they had that earlier. They did the tap on their side.
Maybe. I thought it was a little bit forced,
just a really
too.
well-trained militant group.
You know what didn't bother me in the episode? The stormtroopers, the look. I liked them. I didn't think I was going to like them, but I was fine with it. So here's a little deception. Zeb basically just lets Ezra get captured.
Yeah, Zeb fucks up here. I felt like he got caught up in the competitive or something, like trying to be like competitive with Ezra and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to be the duel first before you. Yeah. And he kind of pulls him by the shirt and holds him back a little and runs past him.
Yeah.
But then he clearly right away is like, oh shit, because the stormtroopers right away catch him. Right. He's like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. And then he like kind of denies it. Like, oh yeah, no, he got left behind. Sorry.
Which sets us up for some character development for him. He's got to learn to not be so selfish and competitive. And he's got to learn how to he's a big guy and he's got to take the responsibility of being the big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
One of the things that I thought might be an issue for me in the show totally wasn't. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, well, you know what's funny? I'm weirdly a big Freddie Prinze fan, and he kind of was a sticking point for me a little bit. I didn't care for some of these line readings. Didn't care for him, Ron. I think they'll get better, but I didn't care for him. I want you to know, Ron, I didn't care at all for these line readings.
I didn't notice it. I didn't have a problem with his line readings. I had a problem with Zeb's lines.
Oh.
Zeb had really bad lines for me.
I had some problems with Zeb, but I felt like they're all tonal problems, which I think will wrap up naturally because it's in the nature of his character.
Right.
He's an awkward character to begin with, and to make an awkward character lovable, as they hone off the edges and make him lovable, it'll just kind of feel like part of the story. Like, oh, naturally he became more lovable because we got to know him better.
All right, so what do you make of this Imperial pork chop here?
Okay, weird thing about Imperial pork chop. What do you think about Imperial pork chop? What do you think about his voice?
Right now,
does that voice read as Imperial pork chop to you?
He's kind of a non-entity for me.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Not really. He has one moment in this, and it's a real brief moment.
You know, here's another problem with the episode for me. I feel like right now, Ezra's captured and stuff. This feels like a natural ending point for the episode.
Oh, okay.
Like, it felt like this was a climax moment.
Right.
And then we get a whole other little tacked-on story involving cookies.
Yes, we did. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. That was another pacing issue for me where it was just like,
this Wookiee...
Because I was honestly on board with it pretty much to this point.
This Wookiee storyline, yeah.
I drank the Kool-Aid. We've been building up for weeks now.
The Wookiee storyline feels like it's a little bit of fan pandering, a
little fandering, no question.
Yeah,
but also fan baiting, because it's like in the bad way, where it's like, hey trolls, come take a look at this. You want to hate our cartoon? Here's a great reason to.
Well,
come on, the screenshots I sent you.
Ezra. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about, Ezra walks into the cockpit and he's like, hey, have you ever heard of the spice mines at Kessel?
Yes.
I'm like, kid, you are on a planet you've never been off of.
He just opened the holocron by meditating. He kind of just, got peaceful.
Yeah.
And so, theoretically, the holocron operates on the concept of, if you're peaceful, meditating, and have force powers, it opens for you. Apparently. Because, theoretically, you're then not a threat.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So... that happens, and he gets a message from an old-ass Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But not old.
No.
Middle-aged. 49, 49 52,
yeah.
somewhere in there.
Somewhere around.
He's got to be in his 50s, right?
Right.
But how does that work? Wait, so he's got to be in his late 30s in the Clone Wars, right?
It's like Marvel math.
No. It works better if you think about it. So Revenge of the Sith, he's clearly in his late 30s, 37, 38, right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, we can...
36
How old
at least.
was he in Phantom?
Phantom Menace, he's...
19?
22, 21?
All right, let's say
young.
20. Let's say 20.
Young.
20. All right. So that makes him 30?
27 to 30, yep.
30.
27 to 30.
27 to 30 in Attack of the Clones?
Yep.
So then another 5 years after that, maybe?
I'm going to measure my life by Obi-Wan now. So I'm still in the 25 to 27 to 30 range, the Attack of the Clones range of Obi-Wan.
Sure. Right.
One more year, and I go into Revenge of the Sith era.
Right. So he's... let's just say...
So plus another 7 years.
It's another 7 years, that's 37.
No. Well, 37. Well, no. So in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith is how many years? 3? 4?
Let's say that...
Well, the whole of the Clone Wars happens.
Anakin is...
5. 6.
No, in Phantom Menace. Anakin's the Rosetta
10.
Stone here.
10 in the Phantom Menace.
10 in Phantom Menace.
10 in Phantom Menace. Add 7.
17.
17.
Attack of the Clones.
This checks out. Yeah. So Obi-Wan, it goes from being Phantom Menace 19 to 20.
Let's just say 20.
Say 20.
20 to 27.
27.
20, and then let's just say another 7 years to...
7 years?
Sure, he's like 24.
Okay, so you're right. 7 years. 7 years, yes. 7 years to Revenge of the Sith.
So Anakin is 24.
24.
Right, 17 plus 7 is 24.
27 plus 7 is 34. Right? 27 plus 7?
Anakin, so
34.
we're saying 7-year gap between all prequels.
That's what we're trying to say, but
20,
that doesn't quite work out.
34.
So he's 34, and then if we say it's another 7 years until the Rebels...
We're not saying 7 years.
We did it earlier.
No.
Earlier you and I said that.
No. But we're not saying that.
Okay.
It's 5 years from A New Hope.
5 years from A New Hope. Okay, got it.
New Hope is 20 years from from Revenge of the Sith.
And how old do you think Alec Guinness is in New Hope?
He's
62.
Alec Guinness is 63.
Really? So legitimately, that was a pretty good guess.
Well, no, because it's been on the internet. Because Mark Hamill just had a birthday.
Oh yeah.
And now Mark Hamill is literally the same age as Alec Guinness was.
Right. I saw that picture. That was great.
Right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that Obi-Wan is 63.
He looks a good 62. I mean, I just called it. I don't know.
But he's also living out in the desert.
No, that's true. It ages you. So let's say 60 though, and then we'll say take 5 off 60, 55.
Well, wait. So
but he doesn't look 55 in that image. But the image wasn't taken at that time.
No, I know.
The image was taken when Caleb was like 13, 14.
If we're going by... Okay, so Anakin...
And he's 30 now. So it's 15 years, right?
It's supposed to be 20 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
It's about... So then it's 15 years between Revenge of the Sith and...
That makes him about
Rebels.
48.
48. And in 5 years makes him 52.
49.
Yeah, so, I mean, hard living. Hard living.
He's only
hard living out there.
He's only in his... What I'm saying is in A New Hope,
yeah.
he's only like 50.
In A&H, he's
like in his 50s.
He's in his 50s. Wow, really? Wow, I'll be damned.
Because yeah, Vader's only supposed to be.
Well,
in his
it's like
40s.
you meet people from California, like some girls from California and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I'm 32. And it's
I
like,
mean,
well,
what is Obi-Wan doing? He's
Yeah.
he's laying out all day.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
the sun will age you.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
working on his tan.
Fooling around with sand people. It's awful close to those people. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. So that's so he's like 50-something in A New Hope.
Okay,
So
that works
puts
for
him
me.
at about 40-some.
He's like my
late
dad's
40s,
age.
Late 40s in Rebels.
I'll tell my dad that too. I'll be like, hey, your Obi-Wan Kenobi's age.
He'll be like, shut up.
Like, yeah, shut up. I'm taking another drink of the beer. Shut up. Okay, so that was a good
Why
tangent.
didn't you like sports?
Yeah, why couldn't you just thrown the football? So we're caught up here. Rebels, where are we at? Canon got... Oh, no, not Canon. Ezra got caught.
Ezra got
He's
caught.
on Star Destroyer. Captain Mutton Chop is... So, Captain Mutton Chop, another white character voiced by a black man.
Yeah.
Did it feel like that to you? I didn't...
This character didn't read to me at all.
Okay, but like so,
he just didn't read to me. I'm like, okay.
So you didn't have the 1995 inclination of like, you weren't like that. That doesn't sound like a white voice.
If any point in this show, I was looking at my watches when Captain Porkchop was on screen.
Just 'cause it was boring.
Yeah,
Not 'cause
like,
he was
I don't know.
voiced by a
I don't know his character's name. I don't know anything about him other than he kicks a stormtrooper when he's down.
His character's name, I just had it, is...
I'm sure they say it. It's close to Kanan.
It is. It's a K.
Oh, here we go. You know, punches the kid.
Oh yeah,
Zeb punches the kid.
And he's wearing this big stormtrooper helmet, and it looks nothing, not the outfit, just the helmet. So he's got this little body and a big helmet.
Right. And
clearly Zeb's just an asshole.
Yeah. Now, although I dig the new helmet design.
Oh, the stormtroopers look the best.
No, what Ezra was wearing.
Oh yeah, that was
the new
funky.
Imperial.
Yeah, it was that midpoint between Clone Trooper and Stormtrooper.
Yeah,
cool.
I dug that.
Yeah, I agree.
More Stormtroopers.
What do you think
killed.
about this like Mandalorian-esque helmet thing that guy's wearing?
I think it's there to protect his pork chops. I don't.
Yeah, it's weird because it's a blend of Mandalorian and Clone Trooper design, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of on one level makes sense to me because you're going to have to bring that in because like the Mandalorians are kind of like Germany, like they're like the greatest army at some point.
Right.
So you just adapt points, like you adapt things from it without actually being it.
Right.
So there we go. We also saw the force field. So that weirded me out right there. We just saw the force field go up.
Yeah.
And the force field suctions off so that the vacuum is sealed.
Yes.
And then Ghost goes through the force field?
No, they were already on the other side of it.
No. Ron, rewind it. Like, we just saw their ship go down. Yeah, just play it from here. And we'll fill the vacuum. But, so yeah, Stormtroopers look great, I thought. Anything that doesn't have a texture on it looks really solid. You know? And then things with texture are hit and miss. Which I think, like I said, they'll iron out probably by the next episode.
I think they'll be fine.
It's just hard in that introductory episode, you know? So here's my thing, though. They knew they were going to have a hard audience in their introductory episode, right?
I don't know what their audience is. Honestly, like...
It's kids on Disney XD, right?
There's still people out there, like hardcore Star Wars fans, that will be like, fuck Rebels. It's a cartoon.
Oh, they say fuck the Clone Wars.
Right. Like, they're still
I see a lot of that
watch it. Not going to watch it. Don't care.
Okay, so we're tuning back in.
All right.
Ghost is here. There's most of our team except for Ezra. They're coming back to rescue Ezra.
Right.
They play some blast things. They run around. This is very OT looking.
Yeah, totally.
As you would expect, because it's the Empire. Zeb's making a joke that it falls flat. And he punches little Ezra.
That's the one big scene I had a problem with.
Hardcore. Punches him like 10 feet.
Big problem with that.
You know?
Big problem with that.
Then again, there's a kid who can jump 20 feet, so what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? Yeah, his eyes are so goddamn blue. They look like he's been chewing on spice all day, doing reference.
Yeah.
Holler back.
All right.
They're all going back to the Ghost.
They're...
He's got his little force slingshot. Ezra gives him some shit. pulls him back on the thing. Blah, blah, blah. Fight, fight, fight. Win, win, win. Go, Rebels, go. They're taking a lot of hits, and there's no reaction, really. So they must have their shields on at this point.
Yeah.
And he also feels down and feels... Was that supposed to be... Is that...
The powder is a blast.
The powder is a blast.
Type of explosive.
Dumb.
See,
Dumb.
The ghost is gone.
Well, hold on. What's this ship? Okay, watch this.
Point of
Watch
view
this.
Of
Here it is. Here it is.
It's the point of view.
Here
of
it
ghost.
is. Watch. Wait.
Gone.
Sealed. Sealed.
Sealed.
What's that?
Oh, blooper.
What was that?
That totally is a blooper.
That was a ship going out. That was
totally,
Ghost, right?
That was totally messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, that ruined it. I was like, "What the fuck's happening here?"
That didn't ruin it.
Sloppy introductory episode.
That was
sloppy.
Sloppy. Yeah. That was sloppy.
Ugh, I'm vomiting.
I didn't notice it until now. Now I hate this episode. Thanks
horrible.
a lot.
So we get some sliders graphics as they warp.
Yeah, they jump to hyperspace really quickly.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Blooper technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we go. The episode's over, right?
No, it's not over.
No, it's not
over.
over.
Oh yeah, no. Did you ever hear about the
Spice
Wookiees
mines
on the
of
Spice
Kessel?
Mines of Kessel?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Droids, a fear going there.
All right.
Well, don't
This
worry,
is
we don't
where
need droids to go there because we're sending Wookiees there.
Yeah, this is where the episode falls apart.
Yeah.
Falls apart.
Thanks, Ron.
Big time.
I'm glad that you see, like, you can still see a reason.
You're right. It felt tacked on.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It felt this whole he was transmitting in the helmet. Like
that MacGuffin. I left that on the table. I was like, sure, whatever. These are data miners. Of course, they have everything recorded.
Also, Kessel doesn't look that bad.
No, it doesn't. I mean, Tatooine looks worse.
Yeah. All right. The Wookiees.
Here we go. Wookiees.
What
Pause
the
it, Ron.
hell is going
Pause it right
on?
there on that little ugly.
No, wait.
What? Ron.
God, it's awful.
You have to use a screenshot from this for the cover of this episode. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
Because these are horrible.
Awful.
All right, let's cover off a few things right off the bat. Wookiees. Number one, I have a long-standing thing. Ron just took a screenshot that may or may not end up being used as the cover of this.
Will be used.
Okay, so the Wookiees, Ron.
Yeah.
Number one, Wookiees were a big sticking point. We didn't see them for 3 seasons in the Clone Wars because they couldn't animate them right. Quote.
Right.
And they brought them out in the 3rd season because they figured out their animation technology well enough to be able to do it. And they did a pretty good job, I thought.
Chewbacca was fine
fine from a animation standpoint. Yes. From a plot standpoint, I did not like it. You did, I did not.
Fine with it.
Gen 1 fans love Wookiees. JP does not. Primarily because, much like my problem with the Twi'leks, or the Twi'leks, the first Twi'lek we meet is a stripper.
Yeah.
So then every other one is a rocket scientist. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like don't judge the first one you met. So Chewbacca with me is clearly just a dumb sidekick hippie guy.
Right.
But it's established very early on in EU stuff that wait. The Wookiees are technologically advanced. They're scientists. They're actually all scientists.
Yes.
So here we have them here. They seem like scientists to you?
No, they're all slaves.
Dumb slaves.
Well, they're very
This is a weird thing, Ron.
innocent.
This is so innocent. That's a nice way to put it. Ron, this is a weird element to the show to me.
It
a
is
bunch
weird.
of slave Wookiees being traipsed about with a little Wookiee.
With a little
What?
Whoa, wait. This is what really
What?
Say what you want about the Wookiees. Here's what really bothered me about it is their handcuffs that they're wearing. Poorly animated, poorly designed.
It's almost like they ran out of money.
It's like
right at this
floating.
point.
They're floating on their wrists. I'm like, they're not even tight.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Let that play for a little bit so we can get the Wookiees back on the screen. So, here's the issue, Ron. Let's just take a sidebar right here. When the Wookiee comes up, let's pause it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Animation sidebar.
Yes.
The Wookiees look horrible.
They're horrible.
They look fucking horrible.
Their hair doesn't move.
This is an abortion of television.
Like Sabine's hair is moving.
It's horrible.
Hair is moving.
Kind
of, but at least there's movement.
At least looks gelatinous.
Yes.
Yeah. Fluid in some way. The Wookiees?
The Wookiee's hair doesn't
The
move.
Wookiee's hair does not move.
It's not moving.
It's horrible, Ron. It would literally look better if I took my Power of the Force action figures and made the Wookiees animated.
Well, yeah.
I stand by that.
No.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
I don't have any baby Wookiee action figures.
Right.
What injustice is it in the world where Dave Filoni can say no to Paul Dini doing a story about an Ewok bounty hunter in the Clone Wars, but then says yes to baby Wookiee with the big eyes? Oh, Ron, baby Wookiee with the big eyes, right there. That's a screenshot for you.
You know, we got
Baby Wookiee with the big eyes, Ron.
We got it's a callback to the Christmas special.
Oh, Ron, no,
It is.
it is not.
All right, just
the
look at
Christmas
the
special is
screenshot.
actually much more pornographic.
That background Wookiee looks better than the foreground Wookiees.
That's horrible. All right, let it play for a little bit. I'm just saying, though, looking at all this, it's very weird, isn't it, Ron?
It's bad.
So there's an element of Star Wars that is in its DNA that has not ever been really commented on directly, except for kind of in the Clone Wars, and that's slavery.
Well,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, Ron.
We commented about slavery in a couple episodes.
In the Droids episode.
Well, also in Dirty Star Wars.
What did we say about in Dirty Star Wars?
That slaves exist.
Oh, okay. We just mentioned they exist.
Slaves exist.
But now we're seeing
Slave
the Empire actually utilizing slaves to mine spice for whatever purpose that is.
Yeah.
Or is it? Wait, time out. So with Dirty Star Wars, we talked about the spice as being an illicit drug that drug smugglers ran.
Yes.
What's the Empire doing to mine the spice?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a very good question.
And
why are they using such a technologically advanced species as the Wookiees to do it, Ron? Why are they slaves?
Because they're muscular.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, they're tall and muscular.
Yeah.
They barely speak English. This is horrible, Ron. This is racism at its core. This is bad.
It's bad. It's bad. It didn't bother me because...
Ron.
It didn't bother me because, to me, this was a very minor point in the episode.
Oh, God. Because it's tacked on.
Tacked on.
But it's legitimately, it's the last... How many minutes is that? What does it say? It's the last 12 minutes of the episode.
10 minutes.
Last 10 minutes of the episode.
But it's not even the
last 10 minutes.
But it's
which is funny because it's a 40-minute episode, right?
But it's not the last 10 minutes of the episode. It's like 5 minutes of the episode.
Okay, time out. It's a 40-minute episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so 1/4 of it is Wookiee.
No.
Dirty Wookiee.
No.
The worst Wookiee you've ever seen. You
1/8
might as well watch the holiday special Wookiee.
1/8 of it is Wookiee. 5 minutes of it is Wookiee.
Ron, this is horrible.
5 minutes of it
This is the most racist thing I've seen since that Disney movie.
Since
Song of the South.
Star Wars.
Yeah, that's right. Disney once again has infected another franchise with its racism. Ugh. Horrible.
Wait, so what is your legitimate problem here? Is it the animation or is it the portrayal?
Oh, it's the animation. The portrayal is tacked on.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's tacked on a civil rights cause at the end of it.
I mean, it's not like you get...
It is just weird, though, Ron. Why are they, they had the chance to abolish this whole concept. Because, why are the thing I know about Wookiees intellectually is that they are technologically savvy. So why in the hell, in a world with droids, are they slaving them to use as guys who hump boxes? It's silly.
Well, maybe they weren't technologically savvy until they learned their skills at the spice mines at Kestis.
I'd be happy to agree with you, except they seem very technologically savvy in both. Well, the holiday special would count. Fair enough. But they seem... I mean, we see them at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
The holiday special is not canon.
But we could count it, because they are technologically savvy there, unlike this. So it's much more fair to Wookiees in that one.
Don't they pick up guns and use them?
Well, it's in the first... we see that in the Clone Wars.
No, here.
I mean, the Clone Wars, the prequels.
In this episode of Rebels.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
Wookiees pick up guns and use them?
Yeah.
Well, that's savvy.
Yeah, some nice white rebel shows them.
See, here's the thing. This is what didn't bother me about the Wookiees is because immediately, 2 minutes later...
That butt shot was weird. Did you see Kanan's butt? So Kanan, they have this very dramatic scene where Kanan reveals that he was Jedi trained, and like comes out and shows his lightsaber, and has awesome like butt shot of him. But it's really weird because of the animation style.
Because we paused it.
Well, take a look at it, guys. It's weird.
Well, wait a minute. But this is the emotional beat that I thought was more important than the bad Wookiees.
Well, it's hard to beat the bad Wookiees, but
I didn't.
So the
think
ship's
the
getting
Wookiees
Ghost
were that
is being
important.
shot,
right?
And Ghost shoots
like
down
the
a TIE
rebels.
fighter.
The rebels are in trouble right now.
Yeah, certain death seems imminent. There's a lot of guns trained on them.
Right, and
baby Wookiee, god damn it, Jesus Christ,
Wookiee is a problem.
That's a big problem, man.
But
Oof.
So
they drop down the stormtroopers.
Captain Porkchop and the stormtroopers show up.
Callus.
Callus sounds good.
Thanks.
Right, and
oh god, good god, that butt shot of little fucking baby Wookiee is horrible. Ugh, this is vile.
No, it's canon.
Is that no? It's canon. That's great.
So
Kanan. Do I like Kanan or not? I just can't tell.
Ezra.
Oh, Ezra. Thank you. Keep going, Ron. Sorry.
So
the emotional beat.
The emotional beat is, Hera's like, are you gonna tell him? Are you gonna tell him the secret? And Ezra's like,
he's his father.
Ezra's like, are you gonna tell me what the secret is? And Kanan is like, well, it is the big secret. And he does. This is like, if you've read the book, you know that Kanan has been very secretive of his identity as a Jedi.
Oh, that's right. They say it's like Order 22 or something.
Right. So
like do Command 22.
Right. So this is a very impactful moment. It's like,
ugh, until you see that reaction shot from the Wookiees. God, it's horrible.
Kanan sees
Good
that there's
God.
no other way out of this situation other than to finally say, look, I'm a Jedi. And that was what I got out of this episode more so than the bad Wookiees, which you couple the bad Wookiees with Zeb, and you're like...
Pause it. Ron, just say pause. That was a good shot. You really were able to enjoy that moment.
I was.
Really?
I was.
What was it? Was it the John Williams score? Is that what got you?
Probably.
That John Williams score is powerful. I won't deny it. There was a lot of times I got swept up in this because of that John Williams score, and I really wanted to love that scene. But the scene was just so primed for me to love it, and combined with the horrible little Wookiee.
See, I'm not even bothered by the horrible Wookiee more so than I'm bothered by Father Wookiee.
What exactly bothers you about Father Wookiee?
The head is all wrong.
It's all wrong, Ron.
It's all wrong.
I mean, like, there was actually a point in this when I looked at the animation, and what was Seth Green's Star Wars thing he was going to do? Was that called Star Wars?
Detours. Star Wars Detours.
I looked at this and I was like, there's 22 episodes of Star Wars Detours sitting out there. Yeah. Why don't they just release that? It's equal quality here.
So you're saying the whole portrayal of the Wookiees and the animation style of the Wookiees ruined the entire show for you?
It didn't ruin it all for me. Thing is, keep in mind, I'm a lifer, and I'm also going to go back and forth pretty easily. So this episode, I'm going to say I'm 70%. I enjoyed it. 30% the Wookiees was a big sticking point. The fact that they tacked it on at the end, on their introductory episode, when they knew for a fact that Wookiees are hard to animate, they were like, fuck it.
It was a big risk.
Yeah, fuck it. First episode, let's do Wookiees.
Yeah, it was a big risk.
And, plot-wise, it doesn't even work. Plot-wise, it's even why'd you tack on an extra 10 minutes at the end?
Yeah.
And if you're going to tack on 10 minutes, why don't you just give me a glimpse of Darth Vader and the Emperor like I want?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Wookiee shit sucks.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I would say that
I'm also not a Wookiee fan, period. Oh, and this is it. Here we go. The stormtroopers chasing the baby Wookiee down the edge of a plankway to murder it on command. Ezra does a 30-foot jump over the stormtrooper and hits him with his force or his
laser slingshot
and frees baby Wookiee. It's just stupid.
See, I for some reason I was
the way they shot it, I bought into it until I saw the big Wookiee face.
For some reason, I was able to ignore the Wookiees in this. knew they were a problem. I was able to ignore it because I was caught up in the story.
Oh, look at that, Ron. Jesus Christ. That baby Wookiee's horrible. Ugh. What's wrong with it? Why does it not register as a Wookiee and just register as something gross and maybe racist?
It's not racist. It's just cartoony and awful.
Okay.
I like this point.
I just don't know if you can show...
I like the point where Captain Kalis Porkchop kicks the stormtrooper when he's down.
Can you
I'm like,
show
nice
dark toned characters with like big lips? Like, can you show brown characters in chains like that as slaves and like it not be a thing, Ron?
Yes, you can, because Chewbacca was in chains.
But he erupted out of those chains right away in Star Wars.
Well, because he didn't
showed himself as a dominant personality. Like
you never.
These
the actual Chewbacca you never thought was a racist character.
Those Wookiees literally show no aspects beyond that of a gorilla.
Yes, it's true.
That's fucked up.
True.
That's weird.
It's true.
That's weird.
They're bad characters.
They're bad Wookiees on all levels.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah.
He even just like pats Ezra on the head at the end. He doesn't say thank you. Doesn't give him some kind of token of appreciation.
Thank you right there.
He just pats him on the head. It's like,
right, which means thank you in Wookiee.
Oh God, Ron.
Zeb,
I look forward to loving more. I think that they will figure that character out.
I was able to overlook the problem of the Wookiees in this episode because I thought that it has strong moments with Kanan coming out as a Jedi, with him encountering a possible new apprentice in Ezra. And here's what I got out of this episode.
Sure. Hit me.
Which, to me, redeemed... Again, I was 90% on board with this episode. 10% was the Wookiees problem. Yes. Also in the 10% was some of Zeb's lines I thought was bad.
Sure. So 8% problem with the Wookiees, 2% Zeb's lines. Yeah.
Exactly. All right? But ultimately what redeemed this for me is the relationship between Kanan and Ezra, the relationship between Hera and Kanan.
Yes.
Yes. They worked well for me.
Yes.
And ultimately what I think about this show is so we're going to have a Jedi who is not really fully trained.
Yes.
Teaching another potential Jedi.
Yes.
And where is that going to go? Nowhere good.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right, Ed?
Yeah. Yes. No, I agree.
I think that there's potential for failure here.
Well, it's cool because a lot of cool inverted things happening here, as opposed to having a character who's Force enabled, doesn't know the Force, trying to learn it. You have a character who's Force enabled who's trying to hide it.
Yeah.
And then you have another Padawan on him, kind of mirroring Anakin, who's like a little too old, very powerful though, clearly.
But these
being
two
trained by
characters
someone
were
who's
never
not trained.
Taught any of this.
Yes.
They don't know that Ezra's too old. They don't know anything about this stuff.
Well, I think he would know that he's too old because everyone else he knew was from birth. But I think it's still interesting just to see. Like, so here we got Obi-Wan. Old, longer hair, longer beard.
Year-old Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that actually works for me. He looks about 48. Sure.
That's fine.
Fair enough. I think we figured out that timeline pretty well, Ron.
We did.
I'm glad that everyone got to hear us figure that out.
Yeah. The fans were able to
we don't figure that kind of
allow
stuff
us to do math on the show.
We don't figure that stuff before the show. We'd like to have you hear the process. This is how to do it. Once again, yellow ladder in the cockpit. Weird.
Yeah. I like the seats. The seats have like a checkerboard pattern.
Oh,
the
racing
stripes.
Yeah. It's weird for me to act that enthusiastic, but that was something I totally noted. I was like, "Oh, those seats look really good."
I think ultimately, yes, the Wookiees were a blemish on this episode.
A blemish, if a blemish would be like your nose being cut off.
I don't...
Like, if you had a missing nose, and you were like, I look great, my eyes are good, I'm totally moisturized, I just missing a nose.
I would say... I would guess because of the problematic nature of trying to animate Wookiees.
Sure, certainly.
I would say that is probably the last we're going to see of Wookiees on Rebels for a long time.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think so.
I
think so. I don't think that was necessarily a plot line that is going to continue forward.
And at the very end of that, we saw the Inquisitor.
Whatever
that is. So let's do a little post game wrap up here.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody gets this joke
yes.
other than people who are born in the 70s and you.
Yes. So the end of it, Inquisitor shows up. No Darth Vader, no Emperor in this episode.
No.
Bold choice.
Yep.
Wookiees, that was a big failing for me. My honest review here is going to be, if you are of a trepidatious nature and you don't know for a fact that you are a Star Wars zombie, can't turn away from it, won't stop, can't stop, that whole thing, watch it. If you think that you're less than a Star Wars zombie, can't ride with the punches and stuff, wait till about season 3 and then marathon it all.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's how we started with the Clone Wars.
I was all ready to jump all over you with your assessment there, but I'll agree with that.
The people who need it and want it and get it,
assessment.
Then stick with it, because I'm
assessment.
sure it's going to be awesome. I really feel like it's going to develop into something great. I have great faith in all the talent involved. I think it's cool they're pushing it rather than just relying on the old style they had. And, so I'm on board. My wife's not. But I think by season 3 she'll see.
Is she not because she saw this, or she's not because she's just not a Star Wars fan?
No, I mean, she is John Q. Public.
Did she watch this with you?
Yeah.
And she was like, those Wookiees, no.
Yeah, straight up.
That was it? That was her, the Wookiees were the big
The Wookiees were
problem?
a big part of it, and also just the general animation. She's like, it just... Because I've also subjected her to a lot of Beast Wars. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
That's a mid-90s... Transformers CGI show, one of the early reboot.
I know Reboot.
Same animation house did it.
Okay,
so same animation.
All right.
She's like, this is Reboot style animation.
Really? You thought it was
that? I didn't think
Reboot.
so. I noticed a lot of the subtleties she wouldn't necessarily be into.
Right.
So I appreciate what they're trying to do. It's not there yet. If you're John Q. Public, avoid. Come back in season 3 when everyone talks about the awesome arc that just happened.
Okay. I would say...
But, if you're a real fan, fucking stick with it.
I would say
Balls
this.
out.
My assessment of this is, if you're not going to get hung up on the technical side of the animation, of how it looks, and for me, I don't get hung up on that. I don't notice a big difference between Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 3.
Really?
I don't notice it.
Interesting.
I mean, if I stop and pay attention to it, sure. But I don't, because I'm usually more caught up in the storyline.
I guess I don't so much in Toy Story 1 to Toy Story 3, but I really notice it in an old school Filmation cartoon versus a Looney Tune. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for me, that doesn't bother me.
Okay.
For me, I watched this twice because I was caught up in the story. I was caught up in the character interactions. I was caught up
maybe that's a better thing for us to talk about. Actually, it's so the story for you was a slam dunk.
The story for me was a slam dunk. Yeah,
compare
with a minor third act problem.
What would you compare it to in the Clone Wars? Do you have an arc that you would say is it better or worse than the Mortis?
That's
trilogy?
The thing is, I can't compare it to the Clone Wars because for me, the Clone Wars, I hate to make this comparison, but I have to.
Sure.
The Clone Wars to me are the prequels, and this was to me the original trilogy. Okay? I know it's hard, but for me, I enjoyed the Clone Wars, right?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
But they were also kind of a chore to get through because you kind of had to pay attention to what's really going on. There was a lot of subtext going on.
Sure.
There was a lot of
which we dutifully mined for this podcast.
There's a lot of details that the common the average viewer is just going to look past and be like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a little
I'll go with
deeper,
you there.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
And this,
Yes.
and this show was it had the tone of the original trilogy where I can
Yes.
I'm like, oh well, this is where the chase scene leads to, the speeder bike scene leads to the space scene leads to
Yes.
it was action beat to action beat to action beat instead of heavy plot to heavy plot to heavy plot.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that's that's an astute observation.
So
totally. Yes.
to me, this again, I enjoyed the Clone Wars, but to me, this is different. This is highly more rewatchable. Like I can just turn this on and be entertained without really having to turn my brain on. Not to say that it's dumb.
It's funny you said that because multiple episodes of this, we've had a topic that was heavily covered in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And I've gone back to try and rewatch it.
Yeah.
And it's hard alone without a friend or anybody hanging out, to be okay, I'm just going to watch this one episode of the Mortis trilogy.
Yeah.
Because you're in the middle of a plot, it's a whole thing.
It's hard.
It's true, it's very dense.
Yes.
Is the good way to say it.
Yeah.
This is a little more light.
Yeah. This is light. And
maybe a little more light is good.
There's more humor in this.
Yeah.
I think
hands down.
Even just the beats of them tapping their legs and is their little signal to one another.
Yes.
To me, it's that's just an easier read when I'm watching this than listening to the Jedi.
Yes.
In the political drama of the Clone Wars.
Yes.
So to me, this was enjoyable. This was, I think that
you're actually taking me, and you've swung me from being a 70% positive to an 85%. I think because you're right. You can just jump into this, and also, I hate to grade out a curve. Yeah. I always want to be very hard on the Star Wars stuff because they take a lot of money from me, but it is the first episode.
It was the first.
And
episode.
because I jumped into Star Wars, the Clone Wars, with not the movie.
Right.
I joined it after they. So I don't know, and I do feel like you are. Here's one thing. One critique I would say, because I agree with everything you said, and I think that's a very valid reason to be into it because it's very fun, fresh, and you can jump right into it. Yeah. You gotta fucking overlook those Wookiees.
You just have to overlook them. You get the
just like you have to overlook Zero in the movie.
Yeah.
So once again, maybe the advice here is to just avoid the first thing and come on later.
In some ways, Zero the Hutt is a little bit harder to take than the Wookiees because he's not only is he a physical stereotype.
What do you mean?
Well, he's a Hutt, but he has
affectations,
right?
Like who?
Doesn't he have makeup on or something?
Like Truman Capote?
Well, he has the voice, right?
He does have a Truman. I always wondered. I wasn't sure if they were going for Truman Capote or if they were going for.
He has a visual affectations, but he also has the verbal affectations. Whereas the Wookiees, they just look like shit.
The verbal affectations. So what do you mean by that?
He sounds like Truman Capote, right?
Oh, so he sounds a little whiny,
right?
Little
if you
fey,
put a different voice in him,
yes,
you would still be well, he doesn't look like a traditional Hutt.
No,
too
sure.
Stylized.
Oh yeah, okay. I get you. I see what you're saying.
Right, the animation makes
yes.
Out of anybody in the Clone Wars,
he appears like a post-year 2000 design more than anyone else.
Yeah, I don't think they did a good job with any of the Hutts in the Clone Wars as far as animation style.
Interesting.
They're too angular. They're too.
All right, letting it out here. You didn't let it out in the Dirty Star Wars episode. You're bringing it out now.
Yeah, I mean,
fair enough. I agree.
I just think that
the Hutts are hard thing to
animate,
especially with the concept that they move without a platform.
Right. I mean, they haven't really even animated them correctly in the movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
hopefully we'll see that.
The only time they got Jabba correct is when he was a big rubber puppet.
If you're going to come Jabba, you come correct.
Right.
That's what I always thought.
So, but the fact that they made Zero have this very Tennessee Williams or Truman Capote
Gay
manner,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, we're not used to Hutt's actually speaking English.
For sure.
Jabba never did.
That's another element of Star Wars trying to turn its head on, it's like, last time you saw him, you thought it was a big, nasty, non-verbal mobster.
Right.
Well, guess what? They can also be very Southern eloquent and like...
Right. It's the Southern gentleman.
See, so like that's another problem I have with Lucasfilm, man. Like the Twi'leks, it's like, that Twi'lek you met, just because she was a stripper doesn't mean they're all strippers. Some of them are Jedi.
Oh,
Some
see, I
of
don't
them
have a problem with the Twi'leks at all.
Well, that's
I
just
don't.
Me. That's just me.
Hey, they're a lot easier to animate.
Yeah.
Show me one Twi'lek that they got wrong in the animation.
Well,
but the Wookiees don't speak. Like if all of a sudden,
Ron.
If
That's the problem
wait.
is that they don't speak because they can't
But
speak
wait,
because they suddenly become as without personality as droids because they can't speak.
Wait, I have 2 points to make. Here.
Okay,
No, 2
all
points.
right,
2
all
points. Okay, one, if they had shown those Wookiees in Rebels,
Yeah.
with a Tennessee Williams accent,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like, "This entire series sucks. I'm not going to watch it anymore."
Bizarre.
And I would have been like,
Bizarre
like
how different our reactions are.
I would have been
like, finally, thank you. Because they give you something you can relate to. Rather than just making the Wookiee, it's very odd.
And I will stop you in your tracks with point number 2.
Okay, hit me.
EU.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Chewbacca just has a speech impediment. All the Wookiees actually speak normal.
Is that an EU thing?
Yeah.
For real?
They actually went there. It's like,
wow. Good Lord. He's the stuttering John of the Star Wars crew.
Yes. He has a
Wow.
speech impediment.
Huh. Well, that's just another log on the pyre of why the EU became legends.
Yeah, well.
That and hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate's great.
That's amazing that actually in like the entirety of our friendship you've hidden that you knew that fact until just now.
What? That's Chewbacca had a
Speech impediment.
Oh, yeah, that's in there.
Nice.
That's in the EU.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, so bottom line is I think both of us are saying stick with it, keep watching. It's going to get great.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Ron says it's really good, especially for newcomers. I say it's okay, maybe bad for newcomers, but either way, I would recommend watching the next episode.
Yeah.
That'll tell us both what's happening.
Sure.
Is there anything else we want to cover here, Ron? I mean, I think we're pretty good. I did pull up that Chrome Trooper.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to
You
do a
want
little
to go back to
jibber-jabber
the
at the
Chrome?
end here.
Yeah, let's go back to the Chrome Trooper really quick.
So real quick, Indie Revolver strikes again with the Phantom. They had the image of a cyborg character holding Darth Vader's helmet recently.
I think they also broke on just how the Stormtrooper helmets, the normal Stormtroopers.
Right. And so now they have Chrome Troopers, and Chrome Trooper looks kind of like your basic Stormtrooper with it's a Univision visor.
Yeah.
So there's no separation, no two eye holes, one big eye hole.
Chrome faceplate.
He's got grumpy cat mouth.
Yeah.
And all chrome faceplate with a cool high collar, which I dig. It's very comic booky.
Yeah.
He's also got a hood on, which Ron says...
Now, they're saying that hood is not hood, and that is actually
armor.
Armor.
That's interesting.
Which looks like a different material here.
Kind of like Darth Vader's helm.
Yeah, but they're saying that is helmet.
Very intriguing. Very intriguing.
Yeah.
I think we're all interested to see what this happens. My big thing is they're going so much back to the Ralph McQuarrie designs that... Do you see me there? I just put on a little bit of radio voice. My theory is that the Ralph McQuarrie designs, the reason Stormtroopers have those masks and stuff is because they could travel in space, right?
Right.
Like they could go like the idea was like old Errol Flynn things. If I'm a bigger ship, you're a smaller ship, I'm going to board your ship. Guys got to get from one ship to the other, right?
Right.
So they would put on grappling hooks and what have you.
Right.
Now clearly this budget did not permit this to happen in Star Wars, so we just saw these guys in masks from around. But I think that maybe the Chrome Troopers might be spacefaring characters. I don't know, maybe spacesuits. What do you think?
I think Well, the other rumor is that these are not actually part of the Empire at all. And they are...
fan troopers.
Adam... yes. They are Adam Driver's... the character he's playing is a... they are his, security guards.
Okay.
And that he is an aristocrat who has a Sith-type fascination.
Oh, he's like an enthusiast. He digs it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's kind of a... I know you haven't seen Darth Plagueis yet, but that's kind of picking up on the characterization of Palpatine as a young man.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched that, but
which I think makes sense.
I just picked up on the an aristocrat, the aristocrats. We haven't really gotten an aristocrat in Star Wars.
Well, that's a good point. That actually might be a good topic for a future episode. Is the aristocrats of Star Wars?
Bail Organa, is he an aristocrat?
Yes.
Okay.
Bail Organa certainly is an aristocrat. So is Sifo Beeble.
Seo Bibble.
Syphilis Bibble.
Yeah.
Syphilis Bibble.
So basically, anybody who has a weird goatee in Star Wars is
if you got a goatee, you're an aristocrat. No question. Okay. I like it. I think that might be the next episode, Ron.
Weird goatees in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, do we have anything else for our Rebels episode?
No, I think I'm good. If I'm gonna let's leave it on a couple of bottom line, over the board statements.
Okay.
Mine is they didn't take this launch of new canon seriously. So says Sons of Dathomir, Dawn of the Empire, or whatever, and the first episode of Rebels. To me, it's because if you're serious and you were this is the first new canon ever in a franchise that goes back to 77 years and has made umpteen $1 billion, and now we're officially throwing everything out and saying only the movies are canon, and this is canon, and you're well, Wookiees are our weakest point. You don't put them in the first episode, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you don't have some hack fucking guy write the first book, and you don't give the first comic to a publisher who's fucking drowning in water. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It all seems editorially mandated, and I warn you, Ron, while I am still hopeful for the future, I warn you that this is the first signs of editorial-driven content. You have to have a book by this date. You have to have a TV show by this date to be 40 minutes. I don't care if the Wookiee episode's a different episode. Add those 10 minutes in.
I would say that, although you're correct, I would argue that they're putting all their money and effort into Episode 7.
I would like to believe that it is just a problem of negligence. That, they are, Catherine Kidney and all her peeps are just focused on Episode 7, and they're Dave Filoni, we trust you. You just figure it all out. And he figures it all out. And that's how it all worked, and that's how we got what we got. And after Episode 7, it won't be like this. It'll all be streamlined and fantastic. But time will tell. Also, by the way, I want to bring this up. It has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Talking to my wife last night.
Yes.
So she's giving this harsh critique, very harsh. She might have soured me more on the Rebels TV show than anything.
What are you doing with your life?
I know. So she's watching it, and she's watching the last few minutes with me, and she's hating on the Wookiees. And her thing is, because I'm starting to bring up this racial thing, I'm it seems awful weird. It seems weird that they have these, brown-toned characters and slave chains, hardly speaking English. It seems very strange. And then her thing was well, yeah, that's weird too, but also think about this. And she brings up 2 points. Number one is, there's no female droids in Star Wars. And number two, if it takes place in the future, why don't they have better chains? And I had to immediately say, well, it takes place a long time ago.
A long time ago. Yeah.
And she goes, what do you mean? She goes, what do you mean? And I go, it takes place a long time ago. It's the first thing we know about Star Wars. It's a long time ago, a galaxy far, far away. And she goes, no.
Yes.
And the yellow type, and I'm no, the blue type. She's what blue type?
Blue type.
So I had to Google it and show it to her, and it's very upsetting. It kind of invalidated her opinion.
Yes.
But she is right. There's not very many girl droids, which we did not cover at all in the droid episode.
At least one.
But yeah, you did call it out today. Yeah.
There's the female protocol droid in Phantom Menace.
Which I tried to Google, I couldn't find, but we'll pull it up afterwards. I believe
Phantom Menace,
yeah.
And then the rumor has always been that EV-99, the torture droid in Jabba's palace, is also female.
I think EV9 is
because her name is Evie.
Yeah, I think Evie is a boy trapped in a female robot's body.
I think that droids are sexless.
Sexless. So that's interesting. So that makes them inhuman.
Yes.
So there is no slavery. It's a non-issue because a Facebook a Facebook listener,
yes.
Facebook friend,
yes.
today posted an article. David Fincher.
I reposted that. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
So he posted an article that the David Fincher was one of the many directors brought in to be like, could you reboot Star Wars? And his only concept was, well, I always thought it was a fascinating story of two slave droids who have to watch the world through their master's eyes and watch their masters be stupid and human and fail.
Right.
And he's like, this one only works the first two movies. Jedi kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was like, I'm so glad Fincher didn't get the role.
Me too. I felt like that was...
I love Fincher. Love him.
Right, I do too, but I felt like that was Fincher's way of being I didn't really want this job anyway.
But that said, I kind of almost wish he did, because I'm almost worried that we have such expected people doing it that it's going to get just more bland and boring. Because Rebels didn't push any buttons for me. I was like, I was hoping a little bit more. So that's my worry. But so long story short is, I had written back to the person who wrote that and said that I had always felt that the cyborg slavery or the droid slavery was always at the heart of Star Wars. But they tried to obscure that with Rebels, with Wookiee slavery.
I think that we'll get more slavery in Star Wars, and it'll just be different races all the time.
Those Wookiees, though, man. Those Wookiees, they stick in the back of the throat, dude. I mean, anybody who watches this, you guys email in to swdog77@gmail.com. That's swdog77@gmail.com, and you let us know what you think. Or better yet, Ron.
Yes.
Write an iTunes review.
Oh, right. An iTunes review. I'm just like, he's still ranting about the Wookiees. I can't believe he's going on about the Wookiees.
I just can't stop him talking about these damn Wookiees.
Forget the Wookiees.
Love Star Wars.
Take it for what it is. All right. I think we're done here, folks.
Yeah, it's been good.
Leave us a review on iTunes. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Blah, blah, blah. Until then...
honestly, Ron, we've gotten a lot more likes on Facebook.
Yes, we have.
I mean, we've literally quadrupled what we had, if not more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, we are a rising podcast.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy. We've even got some tweets. We've gotten actually several iTunes reviews. Thank you, everybody who did that. Yep. But you know what I'm really dying for?
What?
Some one-on-one Gmail correspondence.
Sure,
yeah. You contact us via email, because that's what I know and understand, and I can work it. I can make it work for both of us.
We're not scary. Just talk to us.
I dare you.
We barely know what we're talking about.
No.
So school us. Even.
Yeah, come on. Be a big man.
All right.
swdog77@gmail.com.
All right. I'm going to have to, carry JP away.
I'm going to.
All right, folks. JP?
May the Wookiee... fuck it. May the Wookiee force a Wookiee to be with you.
Yeah, I love it.
God.
It was a blockbuster summer. Moving pictures got us through to September. And then a movie about me and you. How they made it half nude and half true.